What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Hey, money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
I'm sorry, I don't...
Hi, I'm muted. Isn't that awesome? We're off to a great start already.
Boomer!
All right, we'll get through things somehow. Somehow we'll muddle through this. Right. So anyway, as I was saying, while I was so rudely muted, I'm just not in the mood for it. Let's just jump straight into this. Now I'm even less in the mood than I was just a few seconds ago. All righty, folks. There we go. That's kind of how everything's been going. But anyway, we got a lot of ground to cover here today. So here we go. Look, today is whiskey of the day. Today's drink of the day is the Glenfiddich 15. I'm sure I've done this before. If not, I don't know how I haven't. But Glenfiddich 15, it's a 15-year-old Glenfiddich. Funny how that works. And by the way, the year statements, like if it says 12-year, 15-year, 25-year, whatever, that doesn't mean that all of it is 15 years. It means that the youngest whiskey in this bottle is 15 years. It could be mixed with something much, much older, but probably not. Anyway, Glenfiddich 15 is a good, solid workhorse scotch. It's easy to get. I have no idea how much it costs around the world, but yeah, it's not bad. What can you say? It's non-offensive. It's got a light little alcohol burn to it. Lots of vanillas and some vanilla wafer cookies kind of a thing going on there. With a lot of sugars and nice sweetness on the finish, kind of a caramel finish to it. Good stuff. Can't go wrong with a Glenfiddich 15. That's the drink of the day. The co-host of the day, of course, is Chandler Remington.
Hello.
Hi, co-host of the day.
You mean
Right.
regular co-host on a regular basis?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, geez, when we finish with the Depp Heard sidebar things, it's almost going to be like a divorce. You know? We won't have you on the stream every day.
Weird.
Seems like you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then you got Friday. This is the effing Friday week, so it's just kind of you're on here almost every dang day. And it's gonna be like getting a divorce or something. But anyway,
Yeah.
we'll still have our Thursdays. We have joint custody of OJ on Thursdays.
Yep.
And speaking of which, Court TV is up to some shenanigans.
Oh,
I'm calling shenanigans on Court TV.
okay.
They've started apparently broadcasting the OJ Simpson trial weekdays at noon.
How rude. That's your thing. That's our thing.
I'm calling shenanigans on that.
They
Seriously.
obviously got the idea from you
Clearly.
and us.
Just shenanigans. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe they independently came to the idea that they should start rebroadcasting the OJ Simpson trial.
Wait, so it's like every weekday at noon?
Apparently.
For how
That's
long?
what it
For like an
says on the-
hour or what?
I have no idea. It's just up there on their website. Weekdays, 12 p.m. OJ Simpson murder trial.
I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not acceptable.
Shame.
It's just not acceptable.
Shame.
That's all
It's
I'm gonna say.
not. It's not. Shame.
I wonder. I bet they might get through it a little faster. So
Elsie Mayer says, "Yep, they're stealing your grief, legal vices," and then he sees grift. No, it's kind of my grief too.
well,
This
see now
case
you
is
have to
kinda
just you
my
have
grief.
to you have to quit your job. You know, who cares
Yes,
about
I
being
know.
a lawyer? Just do YouTube full time, and then you can do it for like twice as long as them every day, and that'll show them, obviously.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But no, that's not going to happen for a myriad of reasons. I know you were out, you were under the weather, you were off somewhere else recuperating or recovering yesterday, so you probably missed. Well, it was at the beginning. I know you were here at the beginning. My little rant about how the IRS says that I owe them $800 from like 10 years ago.
Oh, that sucks. I guess I missed that. Yeah, I heard something about taxes, but I was kind of like, I was sleeping. I was really out of it.
Yeah, like 680 something from 2014 and 180 something from 2012. But it's not funny anymore because I got a letter for 2013 saying I owe them $3,800.
Oh God, that's so.
So
rude.
now it's not funny. Now it's a lot
really
less
not.
funny than it was yesterday. So now we're up to just about $5,000 that they say I have to pay them in 10-year-old taxes.
Boo.
Well, I know where the Fuck It Friday money's going. It's going to my tax bill.
That's so depressing.
Right.
No.
Oh, it is. It is. But see, then it'll like do two things at once. One, I'll be able to drink myself into oblivion because of my tax debt. And then plus a little money will come in to help me offset the tax debt. So,
well, do something fun with the Fuck It Friday money and then have it offset some other amount of money that you were going to use to do something fun anyway.
Man.
Like the way that Biden sends money to Iran.
We're not doing that.
Just saying.
Right. So there we go. Oh, no, it's not Law and Crime. It's Court TV that's doing it. It's Court TV.
Oh.
Will Call Magic says, I got that letter this year that I owe over $12,000 from 2019. Well, that would suck ass. Because I know how bad like $4,800 sucks. So yeah, well, that's 3 years combined. But anyway.
Well, that's very rude.
There's
and I'm very
a
sorry.
7-year statute of limitations. See, that's where the question lies, which I don't know the answer to. Is it? I mean, I assume it would at least be 7 years from the date of filing. And I may or may not have filed my taxes several years late.
I'm not sure.
Or is it 7 years from the time they tell you that you owe them money?
Well,
but anyway,
if it goes to collections, you have a 7-year period before it's taken off of your credit. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I have no assets in America to take. So, whatevs. Anywho, like I said, it's the IRS, and it's frankly, they are the one organization on planet Earth that I am genuinely terrified of. So they'll get their blood money because because of Wesley Snipes and people like him. If they have no qualms putting him in the slammer, they can have their $4,800. But we'll just have to grift extra hard. So anyway, we got a lot of ground to cover. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm not like exactly like 100% yet, but I'm almost there. Thank you for asking. I was sad that I had to miss sidebars. I really love sidebars. Sidebars are a lot of fun, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make it, but I still miss the give it a whirl moment, which apparently everybody is like, you're making merch about. It was hilarious, and I wasn't there. And everybody's mentioning it in chat, and I feel like I missed out, so I have to go back
and
watch
you
it.
didn't go back and watch it, huh?
Not yet. No. But I will. I'll watch it.
Daily Quick Bite says 10 years beginning from the date the tax return was filed or tax was assessed, whichever is later. So essentially 10 years from today. They can get it. So I'll just pay the blood money to get them off my back. See, IRS, I'm a good boy.
They're totally
That's right. That's what we got to do. Let's give it away. And there will be merch by the end of the weekend. We've got the drawing down, the artist. It's over on Twitter somewhere. So I saw
the drawing. The drawing was great. Yeah,
it's cute. Yeah. So we'll be putting that on a mug and maybe a T-shirt or something. So there we go. That will be happening before the end of the weekend.
Awesome.
Right. So do you have anything coming up on the near horizon, Ms. Chandler Remington?
Well, tonight I'm going to be hanging out on Kaiser Pineapple stream. We're going to do a top 5 horror movie countdown, which will be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So I have prepared my top 5 horror movies of all time, and we will be discussing that.
When is that?
It's tonight. I believe it's it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow I'm doing another thing on Pearl's channel. But it doesn't.
Good.
It's not streamed like live. It's. I mean, I think the editor is still cutting together the one from last week. So that should be up soon. The first episode, and then the second one.
And
I will be
Ezra
filming tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I thought you paused. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Oh.
You paused. I thought you were done. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue.
Oh, I was just saying the second one I will be filming tomorrow. That's all.
Awesome. Ezra is the person responsible for the Give It a Whirl artwork that will be featured on mugs and maybe a hoodie or something for winter.
Ezra, I loved your art. That was fantastic. I did want Elaine to be wearing her characteristic little lavender and black kind of ensemble, but you nailed it otherwise. You did great.
Well, we had to because we compared her to Lady Elaine Fairchild from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's why it's Lady Elaine.
Ah, Lady Elaine. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I must have missed that. I missed a lot in like a couple days.
Merch for taxes. Let's see. Spoiler alert, I take zero money from the merch. It's all for your benefit. Why do I take zero money from merch? Because I'd have to pay taxes on it. So I take zero money from merch. Alrighty then. Now that that's out of the way, as the Canadians would say.
Wait, but I have one more stream that I'm going to be on.
Oh, you weren't done. Don't allow me to interrupt you.
I'm going to be on Fuck It Friday on this channel.
Ah, well, yeah, we'll get to that. That's what I'm going to talk.
Well, so you asked me about what my appearances were going to be, and that's an appearance that I'm going to make. So I want if nobody's here for you, if they're just here to watch me, I want them to know that they can find me on your channel tomorrow evening.
Fair enough. All right, so what's coming up here is we got OJ today, 24 hours from now. Well, actually 23 hours from now, we will be launching into the YNW Melly motion to dismiss the charges based on prosecutorial misconduct, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's been a couple other hearings this week. They're just like, hey, we need more time to file this. Yesterday was, yesterday again was like 12 minutes long. Nothing major was discussed. So yeah, the big one is Friday. And if all goes according to plan, the jury selection should start next week. They expect jury selection in the YNW Melly trial to take about 2 months. So they're hoping the trial will start by the end of November, beginning part of December. And we'll be there for it. Then 12 hours after that, at 9 a.m. That'll be, I don't know what time it starts. It's a Florida trial, 9:30 a.m. So it'll be 10:30 our time. So I guess it is 24 hours from now. Shut up, me. 24 hours from now is the motion hearing. Then 12 hours after that at 9 p.m. Eastern time will be the F It Friday for October. Friday the 13th, Halloween, October 2023, F It Friday, where we're going to have a massive panel of folks on here where we're just, we help the Lorax pay his tax debt. I bring on lots of people to have fun and entertain you, and you pay me to get drunk, and we just have fun. And then next month I get all of the money, and then I put whatever that is to the tax gods. Yay! What's
my goodness?
I know. I thought it was funny when it was $800. I'm like, okay, if you want to go back and get $800 from 10, 11, and 12 years ago, go ahead. But that was 2012 and 2014. Now 2013, they slipped in with the $3,800. Yay! All right. So the F It Friday, as I said, we have a big panel of people that come on. We just talk. It's an open forum. We just go with the flow. Whatever topics come up. The only real rules we have is no politics. So, anything political that automatically makes half of the people leave and the other half hate you. So that's just kind of it. We just have fun. It's all about making the internet have fun again. The topics just range all over the place, and they're great. And the people we have lined up so far, I think this might be the final list because there's no new requests came in today. The list as it stands now is up on my Twitter. Ozzy Overlord, Steph the Altar Nerd, Star Wars Girl, Chrissy Mayer, Jasmine Jafar, Lauren De Laguna, Lila Hart, Ari Jacob, Nina Infinity, Talk with Sally, AV to the 7th Power, Chandler Remington, Megan Fox, Flux, Lady Law 579, Potentially Criminal, Radix Verum, Christina, Waifu Kron, Jess, Meme Copium, MG Law, Steve Gosney, Runkle of the Bailey, Nick Ricada, possibly, and Nicholas Starov, Trial Watch.
So what's the opposite of a sausage fest?
Taco Tuesday? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah.
A lot of ladies.
And we were just talking about this yesterday, going through this list. There's a lot of hotties coming on Friday. So dudes, bring your simp bucks and pay me to simp for the ladies. And again, the effort Friday, it's just a shameless griftathon where we grift hard the one day of the year, one day of the month, so we don't have to do it for the rest of the month. And it's all in good fun. We all know it's just money for booze. Let's not make it more than it really is. So that's our super hottie lineup. Don't miss it. I got nothing else to say. Just don't miss that. Then Monday we'll just start with whatever happens to be going on. If it's Melly, it's Melly. If it's Maritime Monday, it's Maritime Monday.
Sounds great.
No, that's not what it's called. Daily Quick Bites.
Oh.
All right. Let's get on. Oh, by the way, people were mentioning that my microphone was sounding a bit weird yesterday.
It is. It sounded weird today too.
Like, what do you mean weird?
It's like you're kind of muffled slightly.
Oh, I have a filter, like a noise filter on.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. It does not sound great. I mean, it's not terrible, but normally your mic is much better, much clearer.
I see.
Is my mic okay?
Well, yours is muddled too, but I wasn't going to say anything.
No, is it?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Is it really? Is it worse than usual?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes, it's quite, maybe it's a YouTube thing, because you see NetFlutter says we're both sounding muffled.
Boo.
Whatever.
Oh,
I don't
I
care.
see what's going on.
I don't. What's going on? What have you done? What have you done to me? Probably
when I have when my
Jesus,
AirPods are in, the mic
that's your mic is now working.
Is it loud? Is it too loud?
Yeah. Nope, I've got that adjusted.
Better now?
Wait, did you just adjust it?
Yeah.
Put back your adjustment where it was, because I just adjusted it. Let me handle this.
Okay.
Let me handle the volume.
Okay.
Put it back where it goes.
I'm putting it. Okay. How about now?
All right. There we go. And your earpods are up so loud I can hear myself in your earpods. Okay. Anyway, that's enough here. But it is weird because people are saying there's an echo. I think whatever speaker you're using or your earpods are so loud that my voice is being rebroadcast from your speakers or earpods through your microphone.
But I just turned them down really low. That's weird. Oh, fuck it. I'll do the other headphones instead. Oh.
Nope, we've got it taken care of. Don't go anywhere. There we go.
You sure?
Yes, there. That should solve it right there. Correct?
Is it right. Is it okay now?
It is.
Okay.
There we go. All right. I have no idea what my deal is, so whatevs. We just don't know. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
Trying to think where we were yesterday. Nothing really happened yesterday. Well, last week, yesterday, same thing. Nothing really happened. I'm literally trying to think if you missed anything, because you had to bail a little bit early.
I don't remember.
The answer is no. You didn't. I was just like running through the thing through my head. You missed nothing. You missed nothing.
Okay, good to know.
All right. Well, then we can just bring this up and kick it off today the way today was meant to be kicked off. Enough of this boomering out of here. We've got it under control.
Boomer.
All right, let's see. Oh, I may have spoken too soon. Let's just hang on real quick there.
It's so sleepy.
Oh, good. I did not boomer it worse than I thought I had. I thought I had closed the Court TV window, but I didn't. That would be redonkulous of me. Kids still say
Redonkulous, you say? No, but
Wolfman with $5 loin fire. Give it a whirl.
Wow.
There, I had to get that out of the way. Thank you so much, Wolfram, for that. People needed to hear that. Let's bring back Mazzola corn oil for more testimony, shall we? On part 45 of our little thing we call OJ. And we'll embiggen us because, quite frankly, we're the most important part of this, aren't we? Right. Are we all ready?
Yep.
Mess with the tracking on the microphones. The 80s cassette tape kid smiles at your audio quality problems. Remember those days? And I know you're way too young to remember these days, but there were days when if you wanted to record a song from the radio, you had to put a little recorder next to the speakers and record it through the speakers so you could have it on your cassette tape. Oh, it was a pain in the ass.
A little before my time.
A lot before your time.
I mean, I remember listening to cassettes in the car.
You remember listening to them?
Yeah, I remember listening to Tommy, the Who's Tommy. It was the only way that my mother could bribe me to go to my optometrist appointment when I was 2.
All right, that's enough of let's make Lorax feel really old. Let's.
You got so mad at me, what? Because I said a couple instead of a few the other day.
Yeah, yes, a couple is different than a few.
I don't think a couple is different than a few. It's 2 in my mind.
Then what's a couple?
A couple is 2, and a few is.
Do you want a couple
2.
of punches in the head, or do you want a few punches in the head?
They're both exactly the same.
So someone says, get a few of your friends together and let's go somewhere. You bring exactly one friend.
No, I bring 2 friends. Jeff got mad at me because.
All right.
You don't want me to say it?
Look. No. Look. A couple is 2, just by definition. It's a couple is 2 people. A few is 3 to 4 or 5. And then about more than 10 is many. Yes, it is.
No, that's some. Some is 3 to 4 to 5.
Some is an indeterminate number. Some could be 1 or 1,000.
I mean, when I think of a few, I think of 2, maybe 3.
Well, if you're thinking 3, you're correct. If you're thinking 2, you're absolutely wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not a mathematical genius or anything.
I know. Yes, you are.
I never claimed to be. I make mathematical mistakes all the time. Everybody's. Oh. Chandler may not be very bright. I am not very bright when it comes to math. I was amazed when the other day I was actually correct about a mathematical problem where I taught somebody else very basic math because they were trying to say that half of something was more than 50%. So I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually getting this wrong. Or actually getting this right.
I'm going to say, what? Marv White says, few is 3, maybe 4, couple is settled. Exactly.
Okay, fine. So I'm wrong about that. But when I think of a few, I think of like 2 or more.
Just add one more. Just add one more to that.
Because I said that you were... Okay, I'm not going to say it. It has to do with age. I'm not going to go there.
Well, exactly. And this is what started the argument.
Mm-hmm.
She said I was a few decades older than her. And I said, no, I'm a couple of decades. And she's like, that's the same thing. I'm like, oh, no, it definitely is not the same.
In my mind, it was the same thing. Oh, my God.
And not in my mind.
Jeffrey.
He was around 3.14. Ish. All righty.
I apologize if I caused any offense. I didn't.
Let's see what Ito has to say, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do Ito.
Ito's
loud.
Mazzola is again on the witness stand under
What?
This trial was a few decades ago, is what you're saying.
No, it's almost a few decades old. 28 years.
Going cross-examination by Mr. Neufeld.
I'm taking the L.
Ms. Mazzola, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
You're reminded you were still under oath. Mr. Neufeld, you may continue.
Thank you.
She's wearing the same suit she wore yesterday.
I don't think she has any more
Ms.
than the
Mazzola,
one
again,
suit.
call attention to the collecting a stain demonstration board with the still photographs on it. Would you agree, Ms. Mazzola, that the still photographs depicted, shown on this board, because they are still photographs, don't capture the continuous motion involved in the entire process of bloodstain collection?
It's argumentative.
Oh,
That's correct.
And when you first set out to do this demonstration for Mr. Goldberg and the prosecution, did the prosecution attempt to record this demonstration with a videotape as well?
Yes.
Okay, again, we mentioned this last week, and they mentioned it 2 weeks ago. That's how long it's taken them to do this. The idea is they were creating a demonstrative piece of evidence when they created this thing. They wanted to show they don't have actual video of the evidence being collected, so they wanted to make a demonstrative videotape to show them how they collect evidence. And the reason the defense is making such a big deal about this is during their production of this reenactment of them collecting evidence, she dropped a piece of the evidence. And the prosecution, they wanted that part edited out of the video so it looked like they never dropped anything and everything was done perfectly fine. But unfortunately, the draft of the video that they gave to the defense had that unedited part in it. But then at trial, they wanted to introduce an edited version of it, and that set off this massive sidebar thing, these massive arguments outside the presence of the jury. And the judge says, you gave it to him. You gave him the evidence. It's theirs to use. So now I presume he's going to ask them, okay, you did this. You made this video, and in the video you actually dropped stuff, didn't you? Accidents happen, don't they? Even in recreations. I think that's where they're going with it.
And the video was shot at the same time that the still photographs were taken?
Yes.
And it was your job during this videotape demonstration to
look
act
competent.
out the role of the criminalist collecting bloodstains?
Yes.
I mean, this wasn't a real case, right?
No.
Okay. I'll put this down now.
Okay, this is the afternoon section, so it's natural she would still be wearing the same clothes. I know it's the afternoon session because that's the suit Johnny Cochran was wearing last week, and we know Johnny Cochran wouldn't wear the same suit 2 days in a row.
Now, Ms. Mazzola, SID has its own still photographers, correct?
That's correct.
And SID even has personnel who can take videotapes as well, right?
sustained.
Someone asked whether the Brady thing was a deal back then. The Brady case was like 60s. That was like 1960s.
1963.
Yeah. That was totally not a Russian bot, yeah.
When this videotape was being made of you doing the demonstration, Ms. Mazzola, was it your understanding that it was being produced for the purpose of showing it to the jury during the trial?
Anna, the Star Wars girl says her hair is the real crime.
Hey, Anna, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Glad you're here.
Possibility. I don't think they came right out and said it would be shown. It was a
Ms.
possibility.
Mazzola.
Wait.
said-
Let her finish the answer.
I thought she had. I apologize, Ms. Mazzola. Go ahead.
Be my guest.
No, is there more?
Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
What was
Not her
your
hair.
understanding when you were engaged in this demonstration for the district attorney and the video camera is rolling? What is your understanding of what the purpose of this videotape was going to be?
Overruled.
For the next that Star Wars
it
girls camera,
might
we
be
need
shown to the jury.
we need some Andrea Mazzola cosplay, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'd
That
like
would
to
be-
see
So while
Anna
the district
rocking this
attorney
hairstyle.
was producing this
Oh.
videotape, you tried to perform the tasks of criminalists to the best of your ability. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You might need a prosthetic nose, and that might be offensive.
And knowing that the videotape was meant to represent the process of bloodstain collection as practiced by you, you also tried to make it as realistic as possible, did you not?
Yes.
And is the tape, have you seen the videotape?
No.
Now, while you were performing the demonstration, I'm sorry, John.
You'd have to have a couple of cats hanging off you.
Did
She
Mr.
just
Goldberg
smells like
ever
cats.
tell you at any time, either during the videotape or after the videotape, that he was concerned that the videotape revealed some common accidents?
Mm-hmm.
Sustained.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He wants to get in even on the video. You dropped it, didn't you?
No.
You can't even do a reenactment correctly.
Did Mr. Goldberg or any prosecutor ever tell you that it was important to convey to this jury how simple bloodstain collection is?
Overruled. You can answer the question. Was that ever said to you?
Yeah.
Not to show how simple it was, just to show the procedure.
Did any prosecutor ever express to you the importance of conveying to this jury that it is a simple procedure?
Overruled.
It is a simple procedure,
I
but
didn't ask that.
that was
Yeah.
not the main issue.
Okay, I'm not asking what was the main issue. Was it a secondary issue that was conveyed to you by the prosecutors that they wanted to show or suggest to the jury
That's
that this was
counsel. Secondary, tertiary, I mean, where are we going to go with this? Was it discussed by any prosecutor with you to show that how simple the process was?
No, I don't believe so.
Proceed.
Well, why didn't you ask that when he asked the question 3 times? Why didn't you say that, huh?
Well, because she's difficult. She and Fung are both incredibly difficult. You're probably right.
So
Mazzola,
things of basic
during your
cigarettes
prep
and
sessions with Mr.
mothballs.
Goldberg, did he tell you that there was a chance
Specific.
that this videotape might be played for the jury?
Overruled.
No, she dropped fake blood evidence in a mock-up reenactment video.
I don't remember if he said there was a chance it might.
Are you aware of the fact that on the videotape, you are depicted dropping swatches?
Yes.
And were you at all concerned that the videotape depicted you dropping swatches?
No.
But you were aware of it.
Drop
Yes.
it like a swatch.
And
Drop it like a
during your prep
swatch.
sessions with the prosecutors in this case,
Sorry.
You should be.
didn't they tell you that on direct examination,
Oh,
you should
Jeff.
admit that you drop swatches occasionally in the event that this videotape is played to the jury? Didn't that come out?
Hey, everybody in chat, lesbians in chat,
Sustained. Rephrase the
is
question.
drop a swatch.
In
Is
the
that like a
prep
euphemism
sessions with
or anything?
Mr. Goldberg and the other
Is that a thing?
prosecutors,
Just wondering.
didn't
Why are
they
you
tell
asking
that there was a
lesbians
chance
specifically?
that this videotape
I don't know,
might get
'cause
played to
she's
the jury
obviously
by the
one.
defense?
Yes, there might be a chance.
Okay.
Flux.
And you also
Tell us.
knew that
I've
on
never
the
heard that.
videotape, you are depicted dropping swatches. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
No, it just sounds like a
During
euphemism
the
for
prep
something.
session with Mr. Goldberg and other prosecutors, was it discussed that you should readily acknowledge occasionally dropping swatches at crime scenes?
I don't know if they brought it out in the prep sessions.
Well, do you recall on direct examination, Mr. Goldberg asking you about whether you drop swatches?
Yes,
Overruled.
I believe so.
Well, during those prep sessions, you said some of them lasted as much as 5 hours.
It was not a continuous 5 hours.
I understand that, but you said some of the sessions lasted overall as many as 5 hours at the prosecutor's office. Is that right?
I was at the prosecutor's office for upwards of 5 hours, but not talking to them the entire
On different
time.
days.
Right.
And on some of those days, they would ask you questions that they intended to ask you once you took the witness stand, did they not?
Yes.
Right. Well, was one of the questions that you discussed during those prep sessions a question involving you dropping swatches during a crime scene collection?
I don't know if that was during one of the prep sessions.
Are you saying that the very first time you ever heard that question asked was when you took the witness stand here?
I believe it was mentioned when we were taking the photographs for the collection demonstration.
Flux says I'm at work. I only heard part of the question.
So
You
we were
didn't miss
asking
anything.
if dropping
I was just saying.
swatches
Yeah, he
is
keeps
it-
saying, did you drop a swatch? Are you dropping swatches? I just
This
wondering if
time,
that's
Your
like
Honor, I
a
would
lesbian
like to
euphemism
say-
for something.
All right, let's mark it.
Like, hey, you want to go drop
What's
swatches?
next in order?
I mean, as far as I'm aware, I've never
11:17.
heard it before, but I was only a lesbian for like 2 years, so I don't count.
And she thinks that was a few years, so she counts even less.
3 years if you count middle school. So
Yeah.
it's so weird.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I had a girlfriend.
Flux says she would smash Marcia. Like with
Oh,
this
really?
hairstyle or the ramen hairstyle she had earlier.
Oh my god!
So
Wait,
there
did we
may
get
be a
her on
couple
camera
times
with
where
the perm?
I
Because
have to go back and
that was
say,
a
"Oh, yeah.
very mean
please indulge me a
stylist.
little bit."
Well, you've seen your colleagues.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, poor Marcia. She actually listened to her stylist advice.
I never did the
perm.
thing this morning before testimony started.
I
What
think
thing?
Poll? Did you put a poll together?
We got the poll together. We did the daily drink.
I have
By the
no
way,
clue.
did you notice the date at the beginning of this?
The only thing we
Yes.
didn't do was Ari's
Um,
opening, and I still haven't downloaded it and processed it
Does that
yet.
refresh your recollection as to when this videotape was made?
Oh, I love Ari's. Ari's is good.
Not really.
Okay.
God, I was just joking. Everybody's taking it so seriously, but please, Flux, do make it a thing and let me know what it's all about because
Okay, go ahead.
I'm less curious.
Well, I mean, there's that whole like carpet munching thing with lesbians. It could be like a carpet swatch, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's like, yeah, there's like a landing stripper thing. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry.
like a little landing strip thing that's just like a dropping swatches. I don't know.
Or it could be a euphemism for shaving in that area.
Yeah, it could be.
For her, to please her.
What the hell are we talking about here? Good God, people. Oh, I did forget to do the chimes, the ship's bells for the super chats that come in. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just dropped the swatch.
Oh, by the way, I was trying to figure out if she actually is married or was married at this point in time, like
Stop
to
there a
a
minute.
man, potentially.
Now, Ms.
And I
Mazzola, is that
Googled
you're wearing rubber gloves,
Her
correct?
bio.
Correct.
And
and
it's
it
your
came up
right
with my
hand that's
face.
now resting on the ground, isn't it?
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't it? Andrea
I
Mazzola,
believe
OJ
so.
Can you
bio.
just back up
You and me.
a few frames?
Dope.
That's good. Thank you. Is that your right hand that's resting on the ground?
Yes.
Would it be fair to
Oh.
say that the ground there outside on the street is dirty?
What?
Yes.
Oh no.
What?
Unfortunately,
It wasn't even just dropping a swatch. She's like, oh, there you are. You're reenacting collecting a blood stain, and there you are with your latex gloves resting on the dirty, filthy concrete. Right? Is that how you collect evidence in murder trials? Oh no.
That's it, bitch.
That's wow. Is that your nice, clean, sterile latex glove resting on the car park floor? That's dope.
Mr. Neufeld, since we don't have a real-time counter, and if you're going to isolate particular items, you're going to need to describe them, either print them or describe them.
This is the 1117A.
What?
So you like bend over and you show them the goods.
I can
Yeah, I
see
can see that.
Flux walking through Home Depot. Oops, I've dropped my swatch. Are there any
Just
ladies that can help me pick it
before
up?
this shot where you put the right hand down on the dirty ground, did you clean the tweezers?
Yes.
Okay.
Again,
I
another
have
good
head
rap
pain.
song.
You have to do it.
Put the
for
hand
me.
down on
No,
the
I'm
dirty
kidding.
ground. Anyway, what is wrong with us today? Wow.
I don't know. Speak for yourself. I'm perfectly fine.
Well, see, I would be objecting. I mean, it would be a useless objection, but I would be objecting that that seems to it gives
Now,
the
Mr.
impression that her
Zola,
hand just
stop here.
rested there for minutes.
Did you just take the tweezers and put them and move them from the left hand and transfer them to the right hand?
To your dirty,
Yes.
filthy right
That's
hand.
the right hand that you just had put down on the dirty ground. Is that correct?
Oof.
Yes.
Oh, I got her again.
1 moment.
As you can see, I've got my Stream Deck fixed. We can give her the old one too. That's
You're really into the sound effects today, huh? Ms. Mazzola.
I have no idea how long it took me to get these things all resituated again.
And are you now pouring swatches out onto the cap?
Yes.
Oh, you freeze there for a second. And could you just go back?
Oh, you just
about
fucked
10
up again.
frames?
Can we make fun of you now?
5
Yes.
seconds. Right there. Now, at that particular moment, Ms. Mazzola,
Dirty grounds.
was a swatch about to fall out of the cap, and you prevented it from falling out by catching it or bringing your right pinky into contact with that cap?
I don't know. If one was going to fall out, I would have just let it fall.
Well, can you back up a second?
Fuck.
Just a little bit more. Okay, can we just show that little sequence in slow motion, please? And just keep going down there. Ms. Mazzola, at that point, didn't you, stop there for a second, didn't you just bring your hand down to that cap because a swatch was about to fall off the cap? And it didn't, you saved it.
I don't believe so, because it appears that I am putting the cap back on the bottle, and if a swatch was in there, I wouldn't turn the cap over, because the swatch would fall out anyway.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, you were about to put the cap down at that point, right?
Oh, about to, but didn't.
I don't know.
And there were swatches in the cap.
I don't know how many swatches were in the cap.
Can you just?
Why aren't we making a relevancy objection, a speculation objection?
I really don't understand what the point of this is. It's a reenactment. It's not her actually doing the thing.
But see, that's the point of it. Is, that was there. Well, it's only a reenactment, so we can edit it however we want. But what they're showing is that even in this reenactment, she made several mistakes. They're trying to produce this video of how perfect their evidence collection technique is, how they go about collecting swatches and samples, and she drops a swatch. I swear to God, my phone is possessed by Law Talk with Mike. Just
Maybe
randomly.
Ghost in your place that really likes it for some reason?
I guess just like randomly Law Talk with Mike starts regularly on my phone. It did it this morning too, and now it's doing it again. Weird.
Very weird, Jeff. Very
It
weird.
is.
I don't know if
Anywho.
it's as weird as like the scream in your ear from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was
but
wild.
That was
we don't
messed
need
up.
any of that.
No.
So yeah, that's the whole point. The prosecution wanted this in just as a demonstrative to show how careful she is at collecting evidence and how they collect their evidence normally. And she's even made mistakes in this produced video. This tailor-made thing to show. There's even in the practice, even in the reenactment, she's putting her dirty hand. She's putting her hand on the dirty floor. She's moving the tweezers through her dirty hand. She just about drops this lid. She drops a swatch. So she's fucking up royally, even in their produced reenactment of how they go about it. So imagine what they were doing really.
Well, I mean, maybe she has performance anxiety, and maybe she's not doing it the exact same way that she would have done it. But I mean, all that matters is Ms. Mazzola, did you look over this video, and can you say that everything that happens in this video is pretty much how you did it the first time around? Were there any differences or deviations? I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking, she's probably doing some things different.
But this is just a demonstrative thing, and the prosecution brought this on themselves.
I mean, I'm just playing prosecution right now. Devil's advocate.
That's the point. You kind of lose that when they turned over this evidence to the defense with the thing they wanted edited out, and then they tried to get in the unedited tape. I mean, they tried to get in the edited tape when they turned the unedited tape over to the prosecution. I mean, to the defense, and the defense says, these are different.
I don't know why they filmed this in the first place. It doesn't seem to be working for them. I mean, they didn't need
they thought it would
to
be.
film. They didn't need to film a reenactment.
No.
So I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Let's continue.
Okay, now started. Didn't you just see you do something with your pinky, Miss Mazzola, to try and catch something on that cap?
I don't know if I was trying to catch something on the cap or what.
But you could have been. Is that correct, Miss Mazzola?
It's a possibility.
All right. And the same hand that you're using to catch a swatch at that point, if that's what you could have been doing, is the same right hand that you would just put down on the dirty ground. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
Does Chandler remind anyone else of a chihuahua? What kind of question is that? Do I?
No.
What you're doing now is you're making the control swatch.
That's correct.
Item number 5.
Correct.
With your dirty glove and the dirty tweezers.
The
And
dirty,
Ms.
dirty
Mazzola,
carpet.
on the dirty pavement outdoors like this, would you expect to see some kind of dirt or debris on the control swatch? Based on your experience.
Oh, you know Sissy Spacek had dirty
Might,
carpet.
You stop
might
this.
not. Might not. I don't know.
Even
Dirty
on an outdoor pavement like this, you wouldn't expect to find some dirt?
Total.
It's a possibility you'd find some dirt.
Is it a probability that you find some dirt, Ms. Mazzola?
Show me a place that doesn't have dirt.
Continue, please.
Yup.
Yep.
Now, when you put the plastic bag in the envelope at that point, you folded it over to seal it, didn't you?
Yes.
And that would retain the moisture in it, wouldn't it?
It would help keep the swatch from slipping out.
Hold on 1 second, please. Other than preventing the swatches from slipping
Hasn't
out,
happened yet.
by folding over the top of the plastic bag when it's wet inside, that will also result in it preserving the moisture in those swatches, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Preserving the what, Chandler?
Just one more.
Moisture. See, it's saying moisture is different than saying that other
Okay.
word.
All right.
When you extend it,
Oh.
it's more palatable.
That's what she said.
Phrasing.
Somebody said these cops are a result of LAUSD. I disagree. Most people who grow up in LA end up moving out of LA. Just saying.
Hello, unbronzed Aussie. Laura, 1/3 to the 8th power. It's a complicated name.
Okay.
Jane Goodall collects fecal matter from the chimpanzees.
Now, after you make the control swatch, Ms. Mazzola, you then clean the tweezers off before you go on to actually collect the blood stain. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And can you freeze there for a second?
You know she
And what you
licked
just
them.
did, ma'am, was to pick up, and you're going to use that wet wipe or Kleenex to clean the tweezer, right?
Yes, a Kim wipe.
Right. And you just picked up that chem wipe with the same right hand which had been resting on the dirty concrete, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
One moment. Continue, please.
No, he didn't say collect the butt stain. He said blood stain.
Really mature.
Rim shot.
You and your sound effects this morning.
Stop.
I know rim shots are a thing.
Now, Ms. Mazzola, you just transferred the tweezers that you just cleaned back into the right hand again, didn't you?
Yes, the parts away from the tips.
Can you back up a second? Okay, go forward.
Exactly.
Oh no, it
Now
wasn't.
You're holding it.
Oh no. Elsie Meredith. It wasn't stored in a refrigerator that doesn't work. It was stored in a plastic bag, folded up inside of a paper bag, stuffed on the floor of the dark blue crime scene investigators van in a Los Angeles June heat. Put on the floor directly in front of the refrigerator. It wasn't even put in the refrigerator. It was put on the floor in front of the refrigerator.
Away from the tip, correct?
No,
Go ahead.
She said it was more palatable when it's extended.
And now, stop. You moved your fingers further up toward the front of the tweezers, didn't you?
I can't even remember what that was about. Honestly, I'm so tired this morning.
Ms. Mazzola, isn't the tweezer now completely enclosed in your hand, in your right hand?
I don't know if it's entirely enclosed or if my finger is just brought up around the side of it.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, your fingers that are brought up along the side of it are the fingers of your right hand that you would just put down on the dirty pavement. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
You're fingering it on the dirty pavement, aren't you, Mazzola?
That's kind of hot.
Hey,
now you're pouring more swatches out of the bottle, correct?
Correct.
And are some of the swatches falling to the ground and missing the cap?
Yes.
Stop a second.
This poor woman, she's like, they just told me to make the fucking video. Get off my back, man. I do feel bad for her.
I mean, I was just going to say, I bet now she really wishes that she had just been like, I'm just a trainee. You know, they were asking her, they were like, were you a trainee? No, I was a criminologist for one.
Between the bottle and your knee?
Yes.
And this time, I noticed last time when you took the cap off the bottle, after you took out a swatch, you put it right back on the bottle, didn't you? Last time.
Sometimes I do, yes.
Okay, but this time you put the cap down, didn't you?
Yes.
Is that because you considered for even a moment perhaps putting those swatches that fell to the ground back into the bottle?
No.
You never considered that even for a moment?
Never.
Okay.
No, this is a produced video, MG Law. They did this as a demonstrative to show how they normally collect evidence in a careful manner.
But point taken, why would they, after recording this, make a decision that this was going to be a part of the evidence? It looks terrible.
They gave this unedited tape to the defense, and then they go, wait a minute, we want to put the edited one in. And the judge said, no, you gave them the unedited one. They get to use the unedited one. So this was another fuck up by the prosecution, giving them the wrong tape.
Ms. Mazzola.
Yes, well.
When you made this demonstration
Unforced
tape,
error.
were you aware of the fact that your right hand had been resting on the dirty concrete?
No, I don't
Is
believe
this the
so.
first time you knew that?
Yes.
And
Rip Bill Paxton.
Ms. Mazzola, you said you did know, however, that you would drop swatches during the course of this videotape, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And in fact, comments had been made by others present about the fact that you had dropped swatches. Isn't that correct? Well,
ooh, that was Attorney Donald Sutherland biting his tongue.
you also testified on direct examination, Ms. Mazzola, that you would never drop the swatch that had blood on it. Was that your testimony?
I believe so.
Well, had the prosecutor told you during the prep sessions that it was safe for you to give that answer because we don't have you doing that on the videotape?
Sustained. Curious to disregard the implication of that question.
Well, what if she would have said yes?
You also testified, Ms. Mazzola, on direct examination that one reason, I'm sorry, withdraw.
Yeah.
You also testified that at crime scenes,
I know, and that's why I said,
your
game
hand
over,
has
man.
never touched a blood stain or wet blood. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But isn't one reason why you wear these protective gloves in the first place is because you could accidentally touch a blood stain or wet blood?
Yes. Yes.
We wear them for our own protection because we are around blood.
Well, when you say you wear these gloves for your own protection, Ms. Mazzola, isn't that to protect you from an accidental contact with blood? Isn't that the whole purpose you wear the gloves?
Blood, among other things, yes.
Okay, so it's anticipated by the people who taught you at SID to wear gloves that accidental contact between a criminalist and blood does happen from time to time. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
So when you say that you have never touched blood or a wet blood stain, even with your protective gloves on, what you're really saying is that you've never done it such as that you're aware of it. Isn't that correct?
Overruled.
Such that I was aware of, yes.
That's good. Yoda, what are you doing over there, buddy?
Now this is going to be the swatch of the actual evidence, correct?
Correct.
Okay, could you stop there? Now, as you see, Ms. Mazzola, do you see the jury can see it too. Do you see the moist area where you had made the control swatch?
Yes.
And do you see that the moisture has run all the way over to the point where it's actually in contact with the blood stain?
I don't know if that is moisture from the control swatch or the pigment of the concrete itself.
Ms. Mazzola, may we please go back quickly to reverse to show her just the collection of the control swatch.
Now they give the blood a whirl in the lab. That's where that happens.
Back up. Before it starts.
Yoink, he's absolutely correct. God damn it. Mazzola, why you gotta lie like that?
Okay, go ahead. Stop. Back up. I want to get it just before.
Okay, look at dry concrete. She puts the control swatch down, wet concrete. There she is, wiping off the moisture. She puts it down on the dry cement. Dry cement. Dry cement. Dry cement. Shake off the moisture. It's moist. They need to clean off the moisture from the moist swatch. Dry concrete. Put down that swatch on the concrete. Oops.
Stop. Now that you see the control swatch just as it's about to hit the control area next to stain number 5, would you agree that the discoloration we saw later on when you're actually about to lift the blood stain
is not there?
Is moisture from the control swatch?
Don't.
It's a little hard to.
Do you see any
No.
moisture around that white swab right now,
possible.
Mazzola?
Ms. Mazzola, do you actually see any discoloration in the area immediately
God,
adjacent
I should be
to
a
that
lawyer on
blood
OJ's
stain
team.
in this picture before you put that wet control swatch on the ground?
I see the area slightly in front of the swatch, between the swatch and the stain itself.
Shut the fuck up!
Isn't the area at that point, Ms. Mazzola, fairly consistent and not darker, appreciably darker?
You can
in the
see
area-
it darken
in the
when she
immediate area where
lifts
you're
the
placing down the
swab.
control swatch at this point?
Yep.
Yes,
Isn't that a
Heather
fair
Sparrow, she
assessment
left a wet
of What's
spot.
depicted here, ma'am?
It looks slightly darker to me,
Oh,
but
jeez,
Now,
why are you arguing about this woman?
Where she's about to put down.
She argues about everything. It's irritating as fuck.
A little bit further. Slow down.
But I guess they're trained to do that. I don't know.
Well, Dennis
She and Fung
Fung
have a similar-
taught her how to answer questions clearly, even if he didn't teach her how to answer collect evidence. Look, it's perfectly dry there, and watch
I'm
it
gonna argue
change
it's
color.
LAPD.
Watch this thing change color. Watch the concrete change color when they pick up the wet, moist swatch.
I mean, they're cops. Like, they're trained to, LAPD trains them how to answer questions. It's an LAPD thing. It's, definitely like a departmental thing.
Moist
Discoloration
concrete.
created by the moisture
Where did that come from, Jeff?
emanating out
Wow.
from the control swatch.
Came from
Yes.
Mazzola.
And that's
How
a
did
different
you-
color
I'm not
than
gonna
the
ask.
other discolorations in the pavement, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh my God. See, look, it's sitting there on the ground, and now it's becoming discolored around there. Oh,
You
look,
can see that
magically.
at that point, the moisture has almost touched the blood stain, hasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yes.
There's still separation between
There's
the
still
two.
some separation.
That's what
Okay.
almost means,
Now,
Mazzola.
forward to
Yes, I'm pissed.
place.
I am absolutely pissed because we talk about this all the time, and we talked about it during the entirety of Dennis Fung's testimony. All she's got to do is go, yes. This made the wet spot, right? Yes. And they move on. Here she's saying, no, I don't think so. It's almost touching it. It looks a little discolored already. And so all we've seen, all the jury has seen for the last 10 minutes is the defense proving that she's a liar on the stand over and over and over and over again in slow fucking motion. This is how the prosecution loses a case. They don't tell them to just answer the fucking question. Yes, I'm pissed because this is so unnecessary and it is shooting their own case right in their freaking face. Comments, Chandler?
Why did we choose to watch Ms. Mazzola again? Was this
because she's supposed to rehabilitate Dennis Fung.
Oh.
And she doesn't. She makes it worse.
Are you spoiling it for us? We're
Oh, I think
I've been
we've
so
gained
involved.
over the past couple of weeks here that she's not making it better.
This is the most frustrating testimony I've ever listened to. And the thing is, what I don't understand, like, look, I get that they, you know, they obviously spent a lot of time on these witnesses for a reason, and I understand that. But I've learned nothing about the murders. I've learned nothing. I've only learned about, you know, how great an attorney Barry Scheck is and how incompetent LAPD is, which, I mean, I already knew based on just the experience of living in Los Angeles my entire life. But are you sure you want to keep going with Ms. Mazzola? Because
yeah,
because I don't know what you're getting out of this, but I'm not getting a lot out of it.
You're getting out exactly the point of the us watching these OJ Simpson trials to show how a competent lawyer at the peak of his craft, Neufeld, one of the founders of the Innocence Project, who just scored the release of yet another wrongfully convicted person after 35 years in jail just a few days ago, how at the peak of his career, testimony like this is what plants the idea of reasonable doubt in the jury's mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not trying to show anybody whether he did it or not. We're trying to show how because people are these jurors were stupid. I think the jurors were paying attention, and they're
some
showing.
of the jurors were certainly stupid because there were some jurors who wrote a book where they thought that, you know, that they replaced the blood with like OJ's own blood or blood from his children or, you know, something like that. So some of them were certainly stupid, but I mean, I think that they came to the right conclusion. I was just, you know, wondering how long do we have left with this witness?
Oh, about 3 more weeks of our time.
Oh, that's okay. I can do 3 more weeks. That's fine. As long as it's not like months and months, because she's just looking at it's just I want somebody more attractive on the witness stand. I'm sorry if that's, you know, really vain of me, but really what's the word?
Well, speaking of people that are more attractive, we have Marv White with a $2 super chat. Chandler, what is a score numerically?
A score?
Like 4 and 7 years ago, kind of a score.
I don't know. I don't know math.
Say 20.
Huh?
Say 20.
No, I don't know that.
I gave you the answer. Yes, a score is 20.
Okay, cool. Good. Glad to know that. I'm sure I learned that once in elementary school or something, but I, you know, just too much Molly and your brain just kind of, you know, you forget all the words and all the facts.
This is not a math quiz. See, she can ask me a basic math problem and I'll go, oh.
Why are you making me do math, you guys? It's 7 in the morning. It's 7 in the morning. Yes, it is.
But Patricia Andrews says swatches were hotter in the 1980s. Swatches are actually really super hot right now because they're doing collabs with major watchmakers like Omega, and they just did one with a collaboration with Blancpain. So, you know, they're doing a lot of luxury watch collabs at the moment. So they're super hot.
I remember when Baby G watches were in really, like, you know, were really, really hot. And I really wanted one.
What the hell is a Baby G watch?
Somebody in chat will know.
I don't.
No, Stray, I did not do Molly in elementary school. I just forgot things that I learned in
She waited till middle school.
I'll have you know.
Patricia Andrews. Patricia Andrews says, that happened to my blood sample at a U.S. Navy hospital once. I had many terminal illnesses until they took a new sample. Yikes. That's not good. But speaking of the U.S. Navy, there's the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier just pulled into Busan yesterday. And I get to go on a tour on Sunday, so that'll be fun.
That's special.
It is. I get to go on a tour of an aircraft carrier. I haven't been on one of those for years.
I'm going to be cleaning and doing laundry all weekend. Very exciting.
Are,
and also
are you going to be dropping swatches on the concrete?
No, I'm not going to be dropping swatches on the concrete. That's a very silly thing to ask. I'm going to be doing law school stuff, law school prep, etc. Applications.
Patricia says, score is not math. It's Lincoln lore for Lincoln file judges. Exactly.
I know. I'm not some dude with a hat in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Okay, Flux, do you remember how hot Baby G watches were when we were in school? She has to remember.
What is a Baby G?
It was a really cool watch, and all the girls wanted them.
It was like a gel watch or something?
They like they had like that see-through thing kind of, and it was like clear, like the jelly, because everything was like see-through in like the 90s, early aughts.
Yeah.
Super cool. I don't remember if I ever got one, but I really wanted one because they were very trendy.
Well, if they were super cool, we can rest assured Andrea Mazzola didn't have them.
Probably not.
We're about to collect the evidence.
But I bet she had a bitchin' collection of Birkenstocks.
I don't know if there is such a thing.
They are if you're her or Peppermint Patty. One of the two. They could be the same person.
Amazing how a cartoon character that's supposed to be like 4 years old is obviously like a gay icon. Like everybody knows, like she and what's her face were totally a thing. Sir,
Marcy.
when you call your girlfriend sir.
That's funny, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
The swatch
It's a
that you
very
just picked up could be
overt thing.
the same swatch that you would touch with the right hand to help stay in the cap, couldn't it?
Nobody remembers Baby G watches? I'm disappointed.
Stop. Now, Ms. Mazzola, can you see that the moisture has spread out from the control swatch, so it is in fact touching the blood drop stain?
Say yes. Move on.
It appears to be.
And Ms. Mazzola,
Close enough.
you're not supposed to do that, are you? Ms. Mazzola,
Excuse
you
me,
were
Counsel.
instructed.
Counsel,
I'm withdrawing the question based on this objection.
when I start to rule, let me rule.
I'm sorry.
Overruled. Proceed.
Yes, Kaiser. This is my it's my MacArthur
Would you please?
Missouri Meerschaum pipe.
When you received your
Kaiser.
instruction on how to collect bloodstain evidence, although you were taught to collect or control close to the bloodstain, you were also taught, Ms. Mazzola,
G-Shocks are
not to allow
god tier.
the moisture
I've got a
from
good
the
collection of
control
G-Shocks.
swatch to come
Flux
into
has a
contact
great
with the
collection of
bloodstain. Is that
G-Shocks.
correct?
Lincoln Kane wears a
I
G-Shock.
don't believe that was ever mentioned.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, if in fact that swatch itself had been contaminated by your dirty hand, for instance,
Oh, jeez.
would the contamination be transferred to the moisture that is emanating out from the swatch? Could that happen?
Overruled.
I don't know.
You don't know if it could happen?
I don't know if it could happen.
Well, if there was dirt on your hand and your hand came into contact with the control swatch, would you agree that it's possible that there could be a transfer of that trace evidence, of that contaminant, from your glove to the swatch?
Yes, it's possible,
That
but
would be
highly
possible.
unlikely. Move
And
along.
would you agree, ma'am, that if that control swatch was moistened with water, that there could be a transfer of trace evidence from the swatch to the water?
There would be items from the ground in the water, but the blood stain itself is on the ground, so it's on the same substrate.
Simply, well, that assumes, does it not, Ms. Mazzola, that everywhere on the ground you have the same contaminants and the same substrate. Isn't that correct?
That close, the substrate would be approximately the same.
But Ms. Mazzola, when you put your right hand down on the ground, you didn't do that 2 inches away or 1 inch away from the blood drop. You did that several feet away, didn't you?
Yes.
And if your hand came into contact, the hand that touched the dirty pavement several feet away came into contact with a control swatch, it could contaminate the control swatch with whatever contaminant your right hand came in contact with, couldn't it?
If the hand came in contact with that particular swatch, yes.
Okay, and if
I love Flux's watch
swatch
too.
then comes into
We
contact
reviewed her watch
with
collection
water,
one day, and she's got a nice watch
water can pick
collection.
up that contaminant, can't it?
Yes, we've been making
The
Egon
possibility.
comparisons for.
Spreads outward and actually comes into contact with the blood stain, then the blood stain can come into contact with the very same contaminant that the right hand initially came into contact with.
Right.
Isn't that a possibility?
A possibility, yes.
Okay.
But
But your
Ronan
testimony
Farhite with
that
the
you would
old school American Idol. Hand on the ground, looking like a fool with your hand on the ground. Wow, that goes back to season 1 or 2 of American Idol
Ever
tryouts.
instructed
Old
to
school
keep
there.
the control swatch moisture
That's old
not
school.
in contact with the blood stain.
Ants on the ground.
They never taught you that at the Sid Mini Academy.
It was never a strong point that was brought up.
Well, was it a small point that was brought up?
I don't remember.
So is it the best of your recollection? It could have been, but you just don't recall?
I don't recall.
Well, as you sit here today, would it make sense to you as a criminalist not to let the moisture
No
from the
idea
control swatch
yet.
come into contact with the blood stain?
That would be preferable.
It would be preferable not to contaminate evidence. Yes, thank you very much. Advice for all you future criminalists. It's ideal not to contaminate evidence. That's your takeaway, Chandler. Are you happy?
I mean, honestly, I have no intention of being a criminalist. Saying.
Yeah. Let's
So
see.
is there some difficulty in this swatch absorbing the blood stain?
Yes.
One moment.
So yes, because it's not really blood. Or it might be. I don't know.
Wonder what they used instead of blood.
I've used blood. Rando blood.
Oh, like from some homeless guy or something.
Yeah. Just stabbed somebody to get some blood.
I mean, we all know what LAPD is capable of. I'm not going there.
$12:16 a.m. Night all. Good night, unbronzed Aussie Lara 1/3 of the 8th power.
Sleep well.
Oh, look, a drifter.
Now, at that point, Ms. Mazzola, did you just move the swatch into the area of moisture immediately adjacent to the bloodstain, where some of the control moisture was?
Yep.
I can't tell if the swatch was touching the moisture or not.
Did it appear to you that it was, though? You back up 3 seconds. Okay, now just go forward. Slow. Did it appear to you that at that point it's touching the moisture adjacent to the stain?
It's still hard to tell if it was actually
Okay.
touching.
So, let's go forward. Let's go forward and regulate the speed. Ms. Mazzola, in this particular demonstration, you were asked to only make one swatch of this particular bloodstain, correct?
Correct.
Now, in this case, in some of the bloodstains, you made as many as a half a dozen blood swatches?
I don't remember exactly how many, but on some of them it was more than one.
Right? Would you agree, ma'am, that if you did, for instance, 4 or 5 swatches, there's 4 or 5 times the opportunity to make mistakes as there is in a single swatch?
Sustained.
That's a little
In
argumentative.
this particular demonstration, Ms. Mazzola, you're having some difficulty getting blood to be absorbed onto that swatch?
Yes, this
That
stain was
sometimes happens with
Wait.
pavement.
Wait,
Sorry.
Ooh, judge is getting testy. Which
to
you
dry
should.
the blood since it was so cold.
I
They
did get a
put
drink. I'll be-
heater on the blood spots, and it more or less baked it onto the concrete.
Wait, did you say it was so cold it baked it onto the concrete? I guess it makes sense too. She went, I don't know. How
putting
fucking
it in
cold
the
does it
point
get in
envelope now?
Los Angeles anyway? Chandler.
Yes.
And the coin envelope is not sealed, is it?
No, not sealed.
So it didn't have like pockmarks
Now
on
you're
his
spinning
face?
the tweezers again.
Correct.
And again, Ms. Mazzola, you're holding the tweezers in your right hand now.
Yes.
Same right hand that
Yes.
touched the ground, correct?
Yes.
My right hand.
Yes. And is that your right hand hitting the ground again?
I missed the part
My
about the
hand was
heater.
on the ground, yes.
Like, does it ever get cold
Notice
enough in
restriction.
Los Angeles
The tiring,
to
bending down
warrant
there
the
to
use
do
of a
even single
heater?
swatch?
No, when it is extremely cold, my left knee tends to tighten up a bit.
And at this instance, you're actually brushing away the swatches that you would drop to the ground?
Yes.
By the way, Mr. Yamauchi and Dennis Fung are also present.
She used to
during
be a
this.
prison guard until she took an arrow.
Mr.
in the knee.
Yamauchi was.
And did Mr. Yamauchi, I thought you said Dennis Fung was there as well. Did you hold it a second, please?
I believed he was back and forth between the demonstration area and the lab itself.
One moment. Just back up a second, please. Before she gets there. And when you actually collected the swatch, were your knees on the ground?
I believe so.
Okay. Can you back up? Back up to just where she's about to get up.
Okay.
And are you now putting your left hand on your knee?
Yes.
And that's the knee that was just on the pavement?
Oh, God.
I think it was on the pavement.
Okay. And when you're wiping the ground now with your right hand,
Oh,
correct?
God.
Correct.
And you didn't change gloves before you went on to do the next swatching, did you?
No.
No.
Okay. Hold it 1 second. You want to fold? What are you doing?
Bernice in the house.
Yeah, this demo is a great idea, prosecution. Now, up until this point, they could just allege that they made mistakes. Here, yeah, it's kind of taking the alleged mistakes right out of the picture.
And there are more swatches that have dropped to the ground again, haven't there?
Yes.
There's a whole collection of swatches on the ground now.
Again, your right hand with the tweezers is going down to the dirty ground.
Is on the ground.
Would you agree that the pavement outside where you're shooting this has dirt on it, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank God that's over.
By the way, Ms. Mazzola, just stop for 1 second. I notice in the demonstration board, when you're actually, when they show you either using the control swatch or a swatch on a piece of evidence, you don't see any of the swatches that are lying on the ground. Is that
Should we
correct?
do it? Is it time?
I believe so.
Is it time to
They
do
don't
it?
show any swatches lying on.
I think it's time to do it. We haven't done it yet. It's time to do it. That's a brief video. This is a brief video summarizing the testimony of Andrea Mazzola thus far.
On the ground?
Yes.
After you finish making this videotape,
okay.
did the prosecutor ask you to repeat the exercise again?
No.
Continue. Tape.
We don't do the screaming goat. We do the Wilhelmsen scream. That's what we've replaced the goat with.
Now, Ms. Mazzola, you now took out a coin envelope, is that right?
That's correct.
And that's because you were asked to demonstrate how it is that you put documentation on the coin envelope that you're going to put these swatches in. Isn't that right?
That clip is from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Not the instructions.
Now, could you just stop a second? Back up a little bit. I want you to do this in slow motion.
What did I miss? Anything?
Just to.
You know damn well what you missed. You were just not coming on stream. You were avoiding us.
Mazzola,
I was avoiding you.
when you're going to, please just stop for 1 second.
You just missed her making it worse.
Huh? Oh, she's making.
You just
it worse.
missed her
Yeah.
making it worse.
Oh yeah, well,
because
that's expected.
She stood up, took her right hand with the glove on it, literally wiped off all the spilled swatches on there, just wiped it off on the dirt. Then she wiped her hands on her pants. Then she put the tweezers back in her right hand. Then she wiped her pants some more, and then she just did a bunch of other shit. And it just
She's so sloppy.
It was like if Mr. Bean made an evidence collection video. It was bad, but anyway, we finally got through it.
Oh my god. Ms. Mazzola, what are you doing?
Seriously.
You're having me crazy, Ms. Mazzola. I can't with
When
this
you
lady.
are
She's too much.
documenting the coin envelope in the demonstration, do you put down the item number?
Yes.
And when you put down the item number,
Do you put down your
use the
cats when you collect
number
evidence?
sign before the number?
Sometimes, yes.
They just ride on her
Okay.
shoulders.
And do you also on the coin envelope write down your initials as the person who is collecting this item?
Sometimes.
Oh,
I don't believe I did in this.
Was that what you were taught to do, Ms. Mazzola?
I can't remember if we were taught that or if it's something we pick up. I'm not sure.
Well, if you pick something up because you learn it from more senior criminalists at the first crime scenes that you attended, that would be one way of learning this information, correct?
Correct.
Another way of learning it would be because somebody at the SID Mini Academy explained to you that this is the way to do it. Is that correct?
That could be another way.
Either way, you are learning to do something a particular way. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
So the question, ma'am, is, were you taught one way or the other that when you are collecting an item, as you are in this picture, to write down your initials as well as the item number on the coin envelope?
As I believe I had said earlier, some criminalists put their initials on the envelopes, some don't.
Me, I'm one of them that doesn't, and so is Mr. Fung. What's it to you? The prosecution is not objecting this is a practice video because they already argued this outside the presence of the jury. And Judge Ito said, you gave him the wrong tape. That's your problem, not mine. They can use the evidence you gave them. So that's what the some of the rebuttal should be
the
about.
movement of your hand, of your right hand. as
Or at
you
least
write
some of the
on envelope,
redirect.
okay?
Okay.
But you can't see what you're writing. You have to just look at the movement.
Barry's like, I want to cross-examine her too. Why can't I do that?
He does look a little distressed.
You're writing something there, correct?
It appears to be yes.
Okay, and you picked up the pen. Now you're writing something else.
Correct.
Pen you picked up with your dirty, dirty glove.
And now you picked up the pen, now you're writing something else.
Correct.
So, Ms. Mazzola, there were 3 different
Oh,
things.
but Porcelain
that you wrote
Thunder,
on that
that's
envelope,
where you are
correct?
incorrect.
It
There was
appears that I
no
have
OJ's
the
blood around the
coin
crime
envelope
scene.
and the plastic envelope.
Although one blood drop did appear on the back gate two weeks after the initial investigation. There was one tiny little drop of blood that actually weirdly had preservative chemicals in it, found on the back gate 2 weeks after. There was no OJ blood at the crime scene.
They're together.
Ms. Mazzola, did you write 3 different things with your hand in that down position?
It appears so.
Okay. And Ms. Mazzola, one of the things that you were taught to write was the number, correct?
But some people might
Second
think you
thing
were
you were taught
serious,
to
so I
write
had to say
is
it.
the number
I know
sign.
you've
Is that
been here
correct?
long enough.
We were not taught that.
So sometimes you do that, sometimes you don't?
He's writing
I tend
Dennis
to
is
do
a
that.
dick.
You tend to do that.
I tend to do that.
Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing, Ms. Mazzola, and that would be the first thing you were doing there, was actually writing your initial. Isn't that correct?
I don't know if that was my initials or not.
Ms. Mazzola, when you write your initial AM, don't you write it in one continuous motion?
Yes.
All right, one second.
Chandler, you I don't know why I wanted her to hurry and get off the stand. There's only one reason why I want her to hurry and get off the stand.
Why?
Because I think the next time he says Mazzola, I'm gonna hurt something.
Really?
Just hearing
I mean,
him say Mazzola every few seconds is starting to annoy me.
I think it's funny. I mean, he amuses me.
Well, this is our midstream grift time. So, real quick, we got this tonight. About 23 hours from now, we're going to be starting the YNW Melly motion to dismiss the charges against him. We'll do that. And then 36 hours from now, we'll be doing F It Friday. We're going to have a whole bunch of guests on to handle my drunken, boozy, grifty Friday the 13th Halloween marathon thing. We'll go all night long as my liver can hold out and your interest does not wane. Chandler will be there amongst the entire list. About 24 other people have said they will show up at some point, or maybe will show up at some point. Don't miss those 2 things. Chandler, Remington. You've got a bunch of stuff coming up, a bunch of important highfalutin stuff.
I got a couple things, yeah. Well, if Kaiser Pineapple is still in the chat, he has invited me to a very fun stream that we are going to be doing to rank our top 5 favorite Halloween movies. I know that some other lovely guests will be there, MLS Law included. He mentioned some other people, and in a daze, I forgot completely who else will be there. But yeah, we're going to be going over our top 5 favorite Halloween films, which is a really fun, just, spooky season kind of not grift. Stream. Oh my god, it's early. Okay, it's 7:30. I got up at 4 for this, but I'm also going to be on the Audacity Network from Pearly Things. She has started a new network, and I'm going to be in, if it's not out already, her first video. We talk about a lot of interesting subjects, and I'm going to be doing that again tomorrow. It's a pre-recorded video, but it's like kind of a Friday thing, so hopefully that'll be like a regular deal from now on. And then I'm going to be on F Friday, so I'm very excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Woohoo! And speaking of Kaiser Pineapple, Kaiser did a very, very good show earlier today on the Amityville Horror.
I watched it. I love that. I love that case.
Good.
Yeah, it's a good case.
Very, very
really
good. Yeah.
Spooky and creepy.
Well, that's when I first became acquainted with the Warrens. Was during that. That's sort of the investigation that made them famous. It's when they came onto my radar just as a young child.
Lorraine and Ed Warren, yes.
They
were the subject of the Conjuring films as well. One of them, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple. And I really like those, actually. Big fan.
I did until they got into the nun stuff, and then they got stupid.
Oh, I never got to the nun stuff, but I kind of wanted to watch it because it looked spooky, so, But I like James Wan a lot. Even when his movies are bad, they're still good.
Well, anyway,
like Malignant.
That
was a good one. Anyway.
Right. So let's get back to this. Let's sort of rip the Band-Aid off. And now what we've got here is we've got about 45 minutes left on this particular day. I think we should just plow through and get as much of Mazzola done as we possibly can.
I'm down, but I don't want to plow her. You can plow her. I don't want to plow her. I'm not in the mood.
Phrasing?
Yeah, just saying. Not my type. Sorry. Your face.
Just push play.
I'm
Just push play.
trying to be entertaining, damn it.
Yeah.
You okay there, Jeff?
No.
Continue. Continue regular speak.
Chandler's type. I'm going to go off. I'm going to go out on a limb, seeing so she's not here, and say her type is probably anything that's not Andrea Mazzola.
To put documentation on because that's a standard practice of yours, correct?
Correct.
Yet on the demonstration board, there is no photograph of you actually filling out the envelope, is there?
I don't know.
Can you just freeze it 1 second?
Wait, are you drinking beer at like 5 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's ginger beer.
Would you agree, Ms. Mazzola? that
Okay,
it's an
just looked like a
important
regular
step for
old beer.
criminalists
I'm like, wow,
document-
old move.
Although I probably have good
document the
reason
item that he
to,
or
but
she is
not in the mood
collecting.
for beer.
Yeah,
And it's important for purposes of identifying an item, is that right?
that's right.
And it's also important for maintaining or beginning the chain of custody, isn't that right?
Yes.
Now take a look at the demonstration board, Ms. Mazzola.
Right.
Would you agree that even though you say that this is an important step in the process, that there's no photograph showing you documenting the coin envelope on this demonstration board?
There doesn't appear to be.
Did you have any input at all into the creation of this demonstration board without a photograph of you doing the necessary documentation?
I had no input on the construction of the board.
And that's why I don't talk about some of my personal stories.
When you saw the board, you said the board had been shown to you prior to your testifying in this case, hadn't it?
I had a.
I've never
quick
been
look at
haunted.
it, yes.
Well, when you had a quick look at it, Ms. Mazzola, did you say
Good for
to the
you.
prosecutor, wait a second, you're missing one important aspect
Those
of
aren't into me.
the bloodstain evidence collection process, namely the documentation of the coin envelope? Did you say that to them?
Sustained.
Can you go forward, please?
That was the Sopranos theme song, wasn't it? Woke up this morning, got myself a beer.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, we don't want to plow the mayor of Lesbian Town. Yikes.
I feel less gay. I don't know if she did it, but
See the moisture moving out
possible.
from the control swatch, Ms. Mazzola?
Do you see the moisture moving out from
Yes.
Andrea Mazzola's?
You see
Anyway,
it-
never mind.
Hold it.
Hmm.
You see it coming into contact with a portion of the blood stain that moves out in an arm to the right?
It appears that it is.
1 second.
He's just giving up now. All right, it appears, whatever.
Just back it up a little bit, please.
I don't want to hear anyone asking Mazzola if she can back it up a little bit.
I mean, she could
Stop.
have a booty though, but we
Ms.
wouldn't know it.
Mazzola,
Just saying.
see the dirt
It's hidden behind the
fingertips?
sensible pants.
of the third and fourth fingers of your glove?
Yes.
Technically, anybody in LawTube could
Okay,
have a really
continue.
nice butt, and you'd never know it.
The other
Unless they,
thing,
like,
look how
posted
filthy
photos.
the fingers on your gloves are. Nice.
Oh, stop. Now, Ms. Mazzola, do you see that you've now turned the tweezers around? So the tips are right in the middle of that palm of the glove with the dirty fingers?
Just the tip.
I can't see which way the
All right, could you back
tips
it
are
up again for just a few?
facing.
Could you back it up for a few seconds, please? Okay, now, stop. Do you see that the tip of the tweezers is
Please
going
don't
into
say-
that envelope, into the plastic bag.
I say,
Correct.
please don't
Now
say
go
he's just
forward,
inserting the
slow
tip.
And now do you agree it is, excuse, stop. It is now the tip of the tweezers which has gone back into your hand.
The tips would not be in my palm area because they're extremely sharp.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, I'm not suggesting that you were cutting yourself or sticking yourself with the tweezers, but wouldn't you agree that it's possible to simply take the tweezers and hold them like this in your palm without cutting yourself?
Oh,
Isn't it possible you can do that, Ms. Mazzola?
Not those type of tweezers.
You're saying that those type of
Tweezer's
tweezers
gonna
are such that you
tweeze.
cannot hold them like this without cutting yourself? Is that your testimony?
Unless the tips were around the bottom of your hand, I can't see how you could hold the entire tweezers in your hand without getting poked.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, if you have it simply resting in your hand like this, and the point is down here near the bottom of your palm like this, you wouldn't necessarily poke yourself, would you?
If the tips were below your hand,
I know about
yes.
pokers.
If the tip is
I've
actually
met a lot of
resting on
pokers
your
in my
hand,
life. I poked
such as I'm doing
Mazzola.
with my pointed pen,
No,
I'm
Mazzola's
not
poked.
poking
She's
myself,
poked a
am
lot
I?
of people.
it's not the same, counsel.
I understand that, Your Honor. But am I poking myself with this?
The tips of the,
Sustained.
Wait, what is that, boys?
Let's continue the tape.
Donald voice. Donald Trump voice.
Oh my god. There's something wrong with my brain. That I didn't recognize that.
Yes. Well,
think
you
I'm
know,
just sleepy.
he's poked some of the best women. He knows that Mazzola knows about poking women.
Oh my god. See, it's either trauma, Molly, or sleepiness. Probably a combination of the three.
I think the voice was Nick doing Trump.
Now, Ms. Mazzola, the tip of the tweezers is very close to your fingers at this point, isn't it, on your right hand?
Yes, her fingers were close to the
Even if
tip.
the actual tip itself isn't touching, you were pretty close to the edge on that, weren't you?
Now,
You were within a half inch or quarter of an inch of the tip, weren't
he's
you, Ms. Mazzola?
officially gone on too far fucking
I
long
couldn't
with
tell
this.
how close I was on.
I mean, if
think
I'm the
now
jury, I'm
he's just-
getting bored.
Exactly. He's being detrimental at this point. They're like,
Trial
okay,
was
we
watching
got
them,
the
Ms. Mazzola,
point.
Is that correct?
That's
It's
correct.
beating a horse, really.
Now, you're having some difficulty getting the swatch to get onto the stain there, right?
Right.
Slow down, stop. And so now you've moved your fingers on the dirty glove that had been in contact with the pavement down toward the tip of those tweezers, haven't you?
They are still a ways away from the tip.
I understand that. But you've moved them down away from the position they were normally in to try and get that swatch to come off the tip, haven't you?
Yes,
And that's the same hand that had the dirt on the fingers, correct?
I believe so.
Continue.
Yes, please check out Kaiser's Amityville Horror Show. It was really, really good.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I'm gonna have to watch that one again.
Oh, she finally got it.
Now, Ms. Mazzola, between the collection, now you're collecting item number 6, is that right?
That's correct.
And between the collection of items 5 and item 6, you never changed your gloves, did you?
That's correct.
And is the reason you never changed your gloves because no one at SID ever taught you to change your gloves?
They don't need to teach you when to change your gloves. You
Yeah, they
change
do.
your gloves periodically.
Well, did anyone at LAPD?
That answer right there tells you that they do need to train them. And again, instantly, as Chandler has pointed out repeatedly, as I've mentioned once or twice myself, this what you are watching with Fung and her and everybody else, these are the reasons that nationwide it's one pair of gloves, one piece of evidence, essentially because of this trial. Sweeping changes all across the nation in evidence collection techniques because of weeks and weeks of how not to do it.
Yeah, except they apparently didn't pick up on that in Colton County, because during the Murdaugh trial, you had all those people just like barehanded, just like handling evidence, just, you know, putting their dirty hands all over everything. Just like, oh, you want to take can I touch it? You know, it's like, come on. Very important to not contaminate things. Just saying. It's probably a good idea to have some training on this. And you know, if you're LAPD, you kind of want to tell your criminologists, you know, put on a different pair of gloves at this particular juncture. It might help with, you know, not screwing up an entire murder investigation. So just saying.
Particularly as she said that it's her belief that they change gloves to protect them from coming into contact with the evidence. Strike two.
I mean, well, that is an important consideration because, you know, when you are working in that kind of field, you know, there are pathogens in blood. And so, of course, you do have to be careful, but there are also other reasons, you know.
And this is 95, right in the heart of the AIDS scare.
It's not your job to prevent yourself from coming in contact with pathogens. It's your job to handle the evidence in such a way where we aren't getting cross-contamination and we aren't confused about whose DNA is on what. But it is a good, you know, professional objective. You know, one of the benefits, the secondhand benefits, is yes, you won't be infected with something. But, you know, just not very smart. And I really wish that she had just pushed the whole, I'm a trainee, I didn't really know what I was doing thing, because this makes her look incredibly incompetent. Especially pushing that, no, she was so much more qualified than they're saying that she was. It would have been a great out for her, honestly. And now she's backed herself into a corner.
You're absolutely right. She doesn't get to go back and go, but wait, I was just a trainee and this was only my third or fourth murder scene and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing what I was told to do, which was apparently very little.
I mean, she could have at least admitted, you know, yeah, I work for LAPD, and even though they are my employers, I will say that there were some gaps in the training, perhaps because people were understaffed, or I was, you know, set up to be mentored by somebody who didn't really have excellent skill or didn't really know how to teach. You know, she could say, like, this is not standard LAPD practice, but I don't know, she's just making the department look exactly as bad as it is.
Well, this is it, huh? I think OJ probably had something to do with it. This is my theory. You know, we've come to an agreement on this. But we'll never know because the state botched it. Like what is about to happen with Melly, who will also walk.
Something to do with it. Okay, but or JK, whoever. JKD Buck.
Please stop hitting the fucking camera, you stupid big fat lardo dog. Come here. Come here, baby. Just give me a little baby. She's just like rubbing her butt up against the tripod. All right, there we go. Pedro passed away. Who's Pedro? Oh, MTV's Real World Pedro. Okay. Wow. That goes back a bit. Was he in the first season or was he in the second season? That was a long time ago.
Fucked if I know.
There's the Damien guy from Ireland. Is his name Damien? Anyway. Time and place, this is neither.
DSID ever teach you to change your gloves between the handling of different bloodstains?
No.
There you go. Finally, no. The third season? Yeah.
You said that one of the procedures that you have been taught, thank you, that one of the procedures that you have been taught at LAPD was to put some scale in the photograph, such as a tape, such as a ruler, to indicate the size of the actual blood stain, correct?
Sustained.
Well, were you taught, as part of your instruction on forensic photography, to have a ruler placed in the scene?
Sustained.
Ms. Mazzola, did you use a ruler when doing this demonstration to indicate, for purposes of documenting the stain, the size of the stain?
Oh,
No,
And did you not do that because the prosecutors didn't tell you to do that?
I didn't do that. No one told me not to.
All right. One moment, Your Honor.
certainly.
Like, this is just a chill stream. We're just chilling and
Ms.
having
Mazzola, how many
fun.
crime scenes have you collected bloodstains at since June 13th, 1994?
Two, I believe.
And would you agree that additional training and more experience makes you more proficient today than you were 10 months ago?
Experience helps.
And would you agree that when collecting blood or blood stains, mistakes can occur?
Mistakes can happen, yes.
Finally, a straight answer.
And would you
It's the only
agree
thing straight about
that
her
when
waka
collecting
waka
blood
waka.
stains, especially in evidence that's going to go out for DNA analysis, that the criminalist must understand how, in the course of making different mistakes,
Hi, Bob.
DNA could become degraded?
I don't think we bear in mind just DNA specifically.
He's
look
rude.
at
Now, he
any
said she's dirty
serological
and degraded.
testing.
Were you ever taught at the SID Mini Academy any connection at all between the mistakes that can happen at a crime scene and the
This is getting
effects it will
kinky.
have on DNA or other serological testing?
Sustain, rephrase the question.
I don't like it.
Now, the wet swatches, Ms. Mazzola,
I'm saying
were
Mazzola.
placed in the truck in brown paper bags. Is that right?
That's
I was
correct.
gonna say it
Does the
again.
LAPD SID unit have a written procedure for storing biological evidence in the van?
I do not know.
Well, there's a refrigerator in the van, isn't there?
Yes.
Did Fung instruct you to put the bloodstained swatches in the refrigerator?
Oral.
No, he did not.
And you didn't see Fung put them in the refrigerator, did you?
No.
He didn't
Would
tell you a
agree, Ms.
fucking
Mazzola,
thing,
that,
did he?
or were you aware of the fact that the refrigerator worked at least some of the time?
I was aware that it worked some of the time, yes.
And that it would work for several hours before eventually the battery going dead?
I wasn't sure how long it would work.
Well, had you ever been aware of the fact that it did work for more than 1 or 2 hours?
I don't remember if I ever found that out.
You didn't find out how long it did work for?
No.
Well, would you agree, Ms. Mazzola, that even a few hours of keeping wet blood swatches in a refrigerator is better than not keeping them there at all?
Yes.
Sustain.
Okay.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, you said that you had been told by people at LAPSID that heat can have some effect on bacteria growing
Several
on
decades
the blood
younger.
swatches. Isn't that correct?
Sustain. Counsel, I assume there's some other witness who's going to testify to these effects.
One moment, Your Honor.
Oh, Chandler. How you doing?
I am okay. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you? Wow, they got the fancy yellow solo cups. Hey, they're better than just red solo cups. It's probably got vodka and cranberry juice in it. I need to buy some cranberry juice. I need to make some cocktails with cranberry juice in it. He's either turning pages in his notes or eating lunch. One of the two.
Ms. Mazzola, when you came back to Rockingham later in the afternoon on the 13th, the first item of evidence that you collected inside the house was item number 12. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
And item number 12 is more than a single drop of blood, isn't it?
If I remember correctly, it is.
In fact, it is 3 drops of blood, isn't it?
I'm not exactly sure how many.
Well, the other drops of blood or blood stains that you collected from the driveway that day, they were all individual drops, were they not?
Yes.
And weren't you taught, Ms. Mazzola, that whenever you have distinct drops, even if they're close together, that they should be collected in separate packages?
That was up to the discretion of the supervisor.
Let me show you 14.
Is drunken court a thing? It should be. It is sometimes.
Ms. Mazzola, did you receive a
Kardashian
handout
mom and Nicole are
from the
friends.
SID
Oh,
unit
Kardashian dad and
entitled Collection and Preservation
mind.
of Body Fluids? You have it?
never mind.
I might have. I don't remember.
Next in order would be
1118, 1118.
Grr. Hang on here. And for those of you playing at home, we have to do something that we do every time, at least once, when we're able to do it.
If I don't remember.
Just a second here.
next in order would be
1118, 1118.
There we go. Right there. Next behind the Elmo, the white guy in the gray suit, that with the skunk hair, that right there is Mr. Kardashian. Yes, that Kardashian. He was one of OJ's lawyers. He's responsible for keeping up with the Kardashians. He's responsible for all of that and maybe responsible personally for Khloe. Well, not really. This other guy over here might be responsible for Khloe.
I mean, she and OJ have the same nose, the same chin. Like, they have the same face.
As who?
Chloe and OJ do. They strongly resemble one another. Like,
Yes, they do.
she happens to be very light-skinned, but that doesn't really change very much. Sorry.
Kardashian dad hid evidence. But yeah, that is Robert Kardashian back there, with the skunk, with the Bonnie Raitt hair. That's Robert Kardashian, father of at least Kim.
Probably Courtney.
show you this.
Yeah, Courtney. Yeah, the jury, so to speak, is still out on Khloe.
Item number 13.
Yeah, not anymore.
Okay.
By the way, Ms. Mazzola, also look at this. These 2 pages represent a handout that you received at the SID Mini Academy.
Yes, they look familiar.
Okay. And in the handout that you received from the SID Mini Academy,
when does
weren't you
Picard yell
told
there are 4 lights of
specifically,
Kardashians? Well, right now.
if there is more than one distinct stain, these should be treated as different stains and collected separately.
That's what the handout
Right now,
says.
as a matter
All
of
right?
fact.
And Ms. Mazzola, does it anywhere in that handout say, oh, but wait a second, you can make an exception if the senior criminalist says to?
Sustain.
Did you ever receive any written instructions at all from LAPD SID suggesting that you could make an exception from that rule when the senior criminalist so chose?
There was nothing written down.
In fact, even on the demo board that we just looked at, Ms. Mazzola, items 5 and 6 are only several inches apart, aren't they?
I believe, well, what do you qualify as several?
Wait, where'd Chandler go? We need her here for this discussion. We need Chandler here for this discussion. Chandler, come back. Okay, chat. We'll do this here while we wait for Chandler to come back, because this is pertinent to Chandler's information here. Let's go back about that far. There we go. Jake 80 bucks says, "Damn, thanks, Jeff. You don't know how much I needed that." Yeah, we had that locked and loaded and ready to go. Well, at least they've moved on from the video. She's still on the stand for a couple of more days, which is why we're powering through this. We should wrap the show up right now, but there's still 25 minutes left. We're going to power through this, so we can minimize Andrea Mazzola's time on the stand, and then I've just sort of made the command decision that we are going to go back to day one. We've already done the opening. The very first thing we did was the opening statements by both parties, but we're going to go all the way back, and we're going to start over, and we're just going to play this trial through until hell freezes over or I die of old age, whichever happens first. So that's once we finish with Andrea Mazzola, we're going to go back in time, as Huey Lewis in the News sang. So there we are. And again, coming up tomorrow is the YNW Melly motion to dismiss the charges based on all kinds of prosecutorial misconduct. Jury selection could start as early as Monday in the YNW Melly trial, but in order to get a fair trial, they have an amazing number of jurors, potential jurors they're going to be calling and going through. The defense estimates it's going to take about 2 months to go through jury selection. So it's going to be the end of November, beginning of December, middle of December, sometime before the YNW Melly retrial gets underway. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow. Also, some new developments in the YNW Melly case. We're going to keep it fresh in everybody's mind, because interestingly enough, he and Bortland have been charged with new crimes. A little bit of an advance notice there. Bortland, who was out on jail, effed up, and he's been charged with new charges, so he is now back in jail. He was out on bail. The co-defendant in a double murder case was out on bail. Now he's not, because both Bortland and YNW Melly have been charged with new charges of witness tampering. We'll talk more about that before the hearing gets underway on Friday. Friday morning, Friday evening U.S. time is the F at Friday stream, where we just say fuck it and we just have fun with our ginormous panel of guests. It's a griftathon. We grift your money. And that's what we're doing. And Chandler, she's got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Make sure you follow her on Twitter, Remy_legal, and right here on YouTube, so you can find out where she is and what she's doing next. Because she's doing a plethora of things, expanding her horizons. All right, Chandler, we had to pause this because he's raised a question that you're eminently qualified to answer.
Oh, okay.
So we had to stop and go back. Let's continue.
In fact, even on the demo board that we just looked at, Ms. Mazzola, items 5 and 6 are only several inches apart, aren't they?
I believe, well, what do you qualify as several?
Comments, Chandler?
So a couple is 2. A few is 2 to 4. I would say several is probably 4 to 7.
I can almost buy that.
Yeah,
I can almost buy that. But you're still sticking with 2 as a few.
I'm saying a few is in my brain, the way I have always calculated a few. If somebody says a few, I imagine that it's 2 to 4.
So you're sticking to that as much as I'm sticking to OJ didn't actually do it.
It's not that I'm sticking to it. It's just that that's how my brain processes that information. I'm not like, it's not like I'm, like covering for something. That's just like the way my brain works. That's how I define it in my mind.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, multiple people here don't, but can't help it. That's whatever I was taught, or, something. All
right. So we've defined several. Okay. So Andrea Mazzola now has her answer if she wants to come and watch this.
4 to 7.
Okay. I'd still say 4 fits into a few, but I'd say 5 to 7. So we're not too different.
Okay. I can't believe
Doogie
you were
Howser,
around for that.
JD. No, we did.
Would you agree, Ms. Mazzola, that items 5 and 6 are within a foot of one another?
They could be within a foot, yes.
No, 3 is interesting. It's not a crowd.
And Ms. Mazzola, I believe you said that you had also been taught that it wasn't necessary to pick up every single drop in an area, but only to pick up representative drops. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In fact, other than the 3 drops that you saw in the foyer, where you picked up item number 12, weren't there some other small drops in the vicinity that you didn't bother to collect?
I don't remember if I saw any other little drops around that area or not.
Come and knock on our door. Take a step
Oh my God.
that is new.
That's so weird. I was just like listening to the theme song of that, like for nostalgia
Wow.
purposes.
Him
I
and
just-
him and her. It's 3's company too.
hers and hers and his.
Oh, hers and his. Right. Yeah. Right.
Such a stupid show.
It was a great show.
You would agree
The
What happens
original
if he was
Mr.
gay?
Farley.
that there were at least a few drops
dumb.
in that foyer area where you collected number 12.
Yes.
John Ritter was a great actor.
True.
His
Macho,
father
though.
was
Ms.
an
Mazzola, I
amazing
believe
singer.
you said that from looking at the drops outside, one could not tell which direction they were going in. Isn't that correct?
I did not look at them as to try to determine directionality. I don't have any experience in that field.
Well, did Mr. Fung in your presence say that they had any particular direction?
Sustain.
Sustained.
And I believe you said, Ms. Mazzola, before that you can't tell whether or not this trail of blood drops at Rockingham is leading from the house to the Bronco or from the Bronco to the house. Isn't that correct? Just for foundation for the next question.
That's what she said.
In fact, Ms. Mazzola, from what you've just said, the greatest number of drops that you saw in a particular area was that concentration of drops in the foyer, inside the front door. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Let me ask you a hypothetical, Ms. Mazzola.
It'd be funny if you pronounce it hypothetical. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. It'd be weird if he did, but it'd be funnier. That's what she said. Snickers, Judge Lancino. He did say that. How come neither of us noticed that? Judge Ito literally said that's what she said. Damn it. Good on you, LC, for catching that one.
Ms. Mazzola, as a criminalist, have you learned that when a person initially cuts himself or herself, you bleed more profusely, and then as clotting occurs, the bleeding dies down? Did you learn that?
Sustain.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, just from
Have
your
you-
common everyday
yes.
experience,
There you go.
have you ever had a cut?
Yes.
Sustain.
Ms. Mazzola, what do you know?
Oh, Jesus.
both,
You don't have to
professionally
ask
and
the
through your own
question.
experiences as to how frequently blood drops are made when you first get cut and how they dissipate as time passes.
Same objections.
Oh, do you know anything about those topics?
I don't know how fast the blood drops form
Didn't
or
ask
drop.
that.
Well, let me ask you this hypothetical, Ms. Mazzola.
Move along.
If someone cut himself in the foyer of his house,
or herself,
might he bleed more profusely inside
she.
before going outside? It's a hypothetical.
Sustained. No,
Still.
it has to be within the expert's expertise. It's not here.
As a criminalist, Ms. Mazzola, have you been trained, have you received any training at all in looking at blood pattern? Any?
what, if any?
A very little bit, not much at all.
Stop, Elaine. You gotta say it in the Elaine voice.
Well, Ms. Mazzola, would you agree?
Give it a whirl.
That the pattern of drops that you observed, on June 13th at Bundy are consistent.
Oh, let me hear the question.
Are consistent, Ms. Mazzola, with an individual cutting himself inside the house where you observed those 3 drops.
Sustained, counsel. This is beyond her expertise.
Dude, just move on, man. You've made your point. The jury heard the questions 8 times. Everybody knows the answer to the question. Just move it along.
Next in order then. We'll pick this up.
1119. Yeah, thank you.
What's that? A lotto scratch-off ticket? What's he doing?
Wind it up.
All right,
Yeah.
one moment, Your Honor.
Wind it up.
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
Who are you calling a thought? Oh, she's not wearing sensible pants. She's wearing a skirt. Weird. Who's Mazzola? You're looking at her.
Ms. Mazzola,
Zim.
do you recognize that
Zim.
photograph?
Zer,
Yes.
whatever it is.
And is that photograph showing at least 3 different blood drops on the
Yes.
foyer near the card number 12?
Yes.
And isn't it true, Ms. Mazzola, that that was the only blood
How
drops
lucky
or
that those 3
bloodstains
blood drops fell
that
fell
you
right there next to the number
observed
12.
on the first floor of the house?
That's correct.
And isn't it true, Ms. Mazzola, that after you collected those blood drops in item number 12 in the foyer near the front door, that you then walked up the stairway?
I believe we started going up the stairs, yes.
And you examined the light carpet on the stairs?
Yes.
And as you examined that light carpet on the stairs, there was absolutely no bloodstains seen there at all, right?
I did not observe any.
Well, you were looking, weren't you?
Right.
And wasn't Dennis Fung looking?
Yes.
And he didn't say he observed any either, did he?
That's correct.
And you were not only looking for blood drops at that point, you were also looking for dried flecks of blood as well, weren't you?
Anything that was red.
And you didn't see anything that was red on this white
Oh, yes.
carpet?
They've talked about that
ascending all
ad
the way up the stairs?
nauseum.
I don't remember what color the carpet was.
Well, was it light colored, ma'am?
It was light, yes.
It was the kind of color that if there was a red drop, it would stand out, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And then as you walk down the hallway on that second floor toward Mr. Simpson's bedroom, there was also that same light colored carpeting, correct?
I don't recall. Could be. I don't remember.
Well, when you were examining the floor, weren't you at that point?
Yes,
And you didn't see any blood drops there either, did you?
No.
that's correct.
And you didn't see any flecks of blood, did you?
No.
And when you examined that stairway going up the stairs, ma'am, did you examine the banister also?
Yes.
And on the banister, ma'am, there were no flecks of blood, were there?
I personally did not observe any.
Well, did Mr. Fung personally observe them in your presence?
Not in my presence, no.
And on that banister, there were no flecks of blood either, were there?
I did not see any.
And Mr. Fung didn't mention any to you, did he?
No.
And if you had seen them, you would have collected them, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And you would have photographed them.
Yes.
And also on that banister, ma'am, there were no smears of blood.
What's a
were
banister,
there?
ma'am?
Indicating that somebody had blood on their hands. Isn't that
What's
correct?
a banister, ma'am?
I do not recall seeing anything like that.
And Mr. Fung didn't observe any either that he mentioned to you, did he?
Sustained.
Did Mr. Fung, in your presence, say to you that he had observed any smears of blood on the banister?
Sustained. Counsel, why don't you rephrase that question? Did Mr. Fung point out to you any blood smears, et cetera?
Hearing the Jewish
Thank you,
dude
Your
keep
Honor.
talking about smears makes me want to.
No, he did not.
Yum. Good bagels are hard
Why don't
to
we
find
stop
in
this
Korea.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our recess for the afternoon. Please remember all of my admonitions to you. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves. Don't form any opinions about the case. Don't allow anybody to communicate with you. And do not conduct any deliberations till the matter has been submitted to you. As far as the jury is concerned, we will stand in recess until 9 o'clock. I'll see counsel as soon as the jury has departed. Back on the record.
Let's see what he has to say to the lawyers. Is he going to chastise them? Is he going to tell Donald Sutherland to hurry up? What's he going to be saying? What's harder to find in Korea, bagels or beagles? Beagles. But beagles are actually pretty popular. Try that again. Beagles are actually getting to be a popular breed here in Korea, but bagels are definitely easier to find than beagles. But good bagels, real bagels, those might be equally as hard to find as beagles, because Koreans still have the idea that bagels are just sort of circular bread. There's a
It's
couple
wrong.
of authentic. Yeah, I know. They go, oh, look, a bagel. And you go, oh, no, it's a circle of bread. You feel kind of let down. There are a few like that legitimately like will boil them and then bake them and do them the right way. But yeah, you don't care about that. Nobody cares about it. I care about that because I'm in Korea. But
The jury is not present. Counsel, we had two matters that we wanted to take up at 4:30. Mr. Neufeld, you indicated that you wanted discovery of a reports regarding activities of Ms. Mazzola on June the 14th, and you wanted the reports of her activities for some particular reason.
Yes, Your Honor. At the hearing on August 23rd, Ms. Mazzola testified that she had personally participated in the processing of the now dried swatches on the morning of June 14th with Mr. Fung at the laboratory. This morning, she suggested for the first time, Your Honor, that on the morning of June 14th, she did not participate in the processing of evidence in this case with Mr. Fung, but instead spent the morning before she went to the print shed doing paperwork on another case. That was her testimony. I'd like to see this paperwork that she claims that she was doing in the evidence processing unit during the 2 or 3 hours that morning before she went to the print shed. I mean, I frankly don't believe her. And I think that I'm allowed to challenge her credibility with regard to that representation because it contradicts her testimony at the August 23rd hearing. And I want to see if there's paperwork which supports her claim.
All right, what
I'm going to redact it, by the way.
Under 1054.1, what part of that statute applies to this particular report?
One moment.
Let me cut to the chase. I mean, is there some reason that the prosecution doesn't want to provide the court with a copy of any report?
Your Honor, I don't have a copy in my possession at any rate, but the only reason that we're objecting to it is because I just don't believe it falls within any of the discovery provisions. And I think that the prosecution's interests have been hurt by overcompliance with discovery. It has not worked. It has not served our interests. It has not sped the case along. And I think that it's in our interest at this time on every discovery issue to try to see that we are not required to do anything more than what is mandated under the discovery law. And that is my position. So it has nothing to do with this particular report. I haven't seen the report. I don't know how it could be located. It simply has to do with not wanting to provide discovery beyond our discovery obligations.
Your Honor, it's not discovery as I'm trying to find out the actual information about some other case. I don't care about the other case. It could all be
What? I didn't know you had a beagle
So what
flux.
she said on August 23rd under oath in this courtroom
They had
is
cats.
that she spent the morning of June 14th, before going to the print shed with Dennis Fung, processing the swatches in this case. Today, for the very first time, she contradicted herself on that point, and she said that she wasn't processing specimens
be
with
my
Dennis Fung the morning of June 14th before going to the print shed, because instead, she was doing the paperwork on another case. I believe, Your Honor, that
Good
I'm
son.
allowed to impeach her
Peter
with
Gabriel.
that paperwork to the extent that it does not corroborate her sworn testimony here. And it would be a relevant written statement used to impeach this witness. That's what it's for.
Well, counsel, isn't this real collateral? And haven't you already gotten the benefit that you've got one statement here and another statement today that contradicts that statement? I mean, haven't you got the impeachment value out of that?
One second, Your Honor.
So here's Judge Ito saying, look, you've got enough impeachment out of this. Can't we just move along? Haven't you made your point? Which I think is a valid point for Ito.
Your Honor, this witness has been suggesting on many different areas in this case that her testimony on August 23rd was inaccurate because
That
she
chair
hadn't had
makes
time to
Johnny
really think
Cochran
about it.
look like he has a
Whereas now
giant
that she's had
afro.
more time to think about it, her testimony at this trial should be given greater weight. And what she's saying on this particular point is it should be given greater weight because she now remembers that morning, for the 2 or 3 hours that she was there, that she was preoccupied doing paperwork in another case. All I want to do is see that paperwork to see whether or not it corroborates her bald-faced claim that she made before Your Honor this morning, that that's what she was doing. I think in light of the fact that it is a flat-out contradiction from her testimony on August 23rd, bearing in mind that she's going to say that what she said on August 23rd should not be given any serious consideration by the jury because she didn't know what she was saying, that I should be entitled now to impeach the claim that she made this morning by showing her that there isn't this paperwork to support her claim that that's what she was doing during the morning.
All right, how do we get around 1054.1? Under what category does that fall?
Well, Your Honor, number one, I believe that her testimony on August 23rd was in fact the correct testimony, the truthful testimony. And to the extent that it is truthful, it is exculpatory evidence. And to the extent, Your Honor, that this written report undermines her claim today that she spent the time doing this.
Do you have any case that describes something like this as exculpatory evidence under California case law?
Well, Your Honor, not just as exculpatory evidence, Your Honor.
That
but I
was,
would
that was
submit I don't
Judge
have a
Ito
case before me.
subtly reminding him he's not from around
Your Honor,
these
even if you
parts.
thought about it in terms of 352, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the people producing a single report which can be redacted so as no information about another case is disclosed, simply to show how long it is and how much time was expended on it to undermine her
Crazy.
claim that she's made under oath in this courtroom, that she spent the entire morning when she arrived before going to the print shed involved in, I'm processing papers in another case. It just doesn't make sense. And I should be entitled that much leeway. That is not a collateral matter, Your Honor. I'm not going into proving the other case. I'm simply going to prove, Your Honor, that her testimony at August 23rd was the truthful and correct testimony, and her testimony today just wasn't credible. That's the purpose of it. And I also think under the same section, Your Honor, it comes in under subsection F. It's a relevant written or recorded statement of this witness. She is the one who made the recorded statement.
Keep reading.
Uh-oh.
It's about something the prosecution intends on producing. That's the modifier. All right, I'll
Uh-oh.
take your request under submission. My tentative ruling is to deny your request. Bring me something that says that you're entitled to it. All right?
Well, yes, there's a second matter, Your Honor.
Yes.
I asked on Friday or Thursday. Thursday, I asked the prosecutor to simply produce in court for my cross-examination of Ms. Mazzola the actual evidence that she collected on the 13th
As is
and
Robert
the 14th.
Shapiro. Robert Shapiro's a
Her evidence,
California
okay, which
lawyer.
means the coin envelopes and the bindles. And the people last week said they would think about it, and they told me this morning they've decided that they're not going to bring it in here. And I believe that I am entitled to confront this witness with the actual evidence that she collected in this case. And that's what I would like to do tomorrow morning. So I would ask the court to instruct the people to produce in court tomorrow morning the actual items, which would be the original coin envelopes and the original bindles.
Okay. Mr. Goldberg?
Well, Your Honor, the problem is that, of course, there are several problems. One of them is that we are talking about biological evidence, a lot of which has not been tested. For example, on our chain of custody boards, we only have the items that were tested. We tested item number 6 and item number 7, but the prosecution did not test 3 and 4 at this time because obviously we've had to prioritize and the laboratories are inundated with the amount of material that we've given them. So they're talking about bringing in evidence that still contains biological evidence that can be tested, defrosting it, destroying its utility for any future testing, evidence that constitutes a biohazard and should not be in court at any rate, and has made absolutely no showing as to why we are going to destroy the evidence in this case. I mean, obviously the defendant doesn't care about destroying the evidence in this case because it's not going to exonerate him, but we still have an interest in trying to preserve the evidence to the extent that it exists. They have been provided with an opportunity to inspect all of this evidence in Albany at a tremendous expense to the people. It has been photographed by the prosecution. We have provided them with photographs of it. They have had the opportunity to inspect it on a variety of other occasions at an enormous expense and burden to the people.
Well, rather than saying all evidence that this witness collected, is there anything in particular that you need, Mr. Neufeld?
Well, yes, Your Honor, but let me just, well, it's the items of the bloodstains that were actually collected by Ms. Mazzola and at Bundy and at Rockingham. That's what we're talking about here. Those are the items. Let me just say two things.
How many items? Which specific items from the property report? I take it you haven't even reduced this to a written request to the prosecution.
Well, Your Honor, that's true, but let the prosecutors submit to you a single authority to support his point that's going to be destroyed. It's not going to be destroyed.
Wait, Mr. Neufeld, I'm just interested in what efforts have you made to try to get them to bring this over? First effort is to identify specifically what it is you want. I'm asking you now, tell me what you want. I'm just curious if you even have a written list of these items, which would help me immensely to get started here.
The items of the bloodstains collected at Bundy, which would be items 41 through 52. That's, and we're not talking about a huge amount of evidence here. These are coin envelopes that are this large, Your Honor. 41 through 52. At Rockingham, we were talking about items 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Item 1, item 4, 5, 6.
All right, counsel, what we're going to do is I'm going to stand in recess until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I want you to prepare a list of what it is you want from the prosecution. Give it to the prosecution. I want from the prosecution by 8:30 tomorrow morning a list of any specific objections as to why those items cannot be produced in court.
Okay.
Your Honor, there's
Yes, to the specifics
Interesting.
requested by the defense. I assume that if there is any refrigeration problem, they can be packed, brought over, exhibited briefly. I assume that this is not a tremendous logistical problem since we're talking about a lab that's less than a mile away from here.
Your Honor, just so the record's clear on this, these items were sent to Albany. They were taken out of the freezer for extended periods of time.
Mr. Neufeld, stop where you're headed. All right, tomorrow morning.
If they have their list by 8:30, how?
No, I'm ordering you to confer, provide the prosecution with a list. I'm giving the prosecution until tomorrow morning at 8:30 to lodge any written objections that they have to those items. And I'll make an order, if it's appropriate, tomorrow morning, directing LAPD SID to bring those things over, packed in dry ice if necessary.
Okay, so they're going to give their list to us tonight.
Right now.
I'm going to give you the list in 5 minutes.
Right now.
All right.
All right? Do we understand each other? Great. Mr. Cochran.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You got 1 minute,
Start off
Johnny.
the morning. I'd like to finish off the day, Your Honor. Your Honor, we had made an informal request, I believe, for the so-called Cato Kalin tapes. Have they not been made available to us?
No, if you recall, the prosecution said that they had turned over a set to the court and that they were available to you from the court anytime you wanted to take them and copy them.
Can we do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I've had them sitting in my chambers for the last 2 weeks now.
Well,
3 weeks.
Can we get those? We'll work that for Your Honor's clerk. And the other thing is, could the court set aside some time this week? We probably need one of your famous graphs, because we need to calendar certain of our motions that are kind of fallen by the wayside. But, at your convenience, we need to probably get that back.
Actually, we probably ought to have a brief morning's chambers conference, perhaps Thursday morning, just to get a list of all the matters that we have not considered. I'll have Mrs. Robertson put together a list of the motions that we have not addressed yet or have been taken off calendar.
That'll be fine. And there's one other witness we're going to, I think, interview at some point when the court decides it's
That is correct.
So that's fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, counsel.
There we go. That brings us to the end of another OJ. With Chandler had to step away, but if she comes back, we'll bring her up. That's it. That's it. We got through another day of Mazzola. Phew, the entire afternoon of Mazzola. We cleared it. That's one less show we've got to do. So we'll continue to power through her testimony as quickly as we can. And once that's wrapped up, we'll go back to day one and we'll just watch this thing. We'll just watch it on through. But that was an interesting way for Ito to end, saying, look, you defense guys, you sit here until you come up with a list of things you want from the prosecution. Prosecution, you have all night to write down written objections to anything you don't think you should have to give them, and have it to me by 8:30 a.m. and then I'll read through it and I'll let you know. So basically telling the prosecution they're gonna have to work all night long. All righty. Well, that brings us to the end here. So we have to give you a special super thanks to the mods for being moddy and doing all the mod stuff you do. And for you folks here in chat, thank you so much for being here. The Vice Squad chat is the best chat. Thank you for the support. And tomorrow morning, U.S. time, normal time, 9 a.m., which is when we start these things, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK time, we'll be starting the YNW Melly motion to dismiss the charges. It could all be over tomorrow. Probably not, but it could be. So we'll cover that hearing. And then in the evening, 9 p.m., 12 hours after that, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing my F at Friday stream. F at Friday stream, I said we're going to have a big panel of guests. That's where you bring all of your money and you give it all to me as I grift for $100 shots. Again, it's a lighthearted, just pure and simple grift. And we have our long line of guests lined up. Over 20 people have said that they will be there or definite maybes to be there. Those people, just again, last time to go through this list, the list is Aussie Overlord, Steph the Alter Nerd, Star Wars Girls, Chrissy Mayer, Jasmine Jafar, Lauren De Laguna, Lila Hart, Ari Jacob, Nina Infinity, Talk with Sally, AV to the 7th Power, Chandler Remington, Megan Fox, Flux, Lady Law 579, Potentially Criminal, Radix Verum, Waifu Kron Jess, Meme Copium, MG Law, Steve Gosney, Runkle of the Bailey, Nick Ricada, Nicholas Starov, Trial Watch, and more. So stay tuned. As the guests thin out, as the no-shows become no-shows and the other people go to sleep, we'll be opening it up and we'll be having more fun on there. Valhalla waits, whining he hasn't been invited yet. Well, you haven't asked to be invited yet, have you? Like we said, we'll open it up a lot more once all the people on the East Coast either don't show up or go to sleep. We know Valhalla never sleeps. So, there we go. Thanks for being here. And on behalf of Chandler, who had to step away and hasn't made it back in time, thank you. Check her out on Kaiser Pineapple stream tomorrow morning. And then she's going to be doing something with Pearl later. Be recording something there, so that'll be awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you in just about 22 hours. Take care. Until then, take care and make sure that whatever you do, enjoy your legal vices. LawRex out.